Chapter 689. Hiss. Facing such an indiscriminate and terrifying attack, Wu Yazi sucked in a breath of cold air, and all the hair on his body stood on end. At this moment he clearly understood that if he did not go all out he would really die here. Let's go all out. Wu Yazi gritted his teeth, and 18 small black shields suddenly appeared around his body. After circling around him, they quickly condensed into one, like a black tortoise shell, and wrapped him inside. At this moment, all of Su Chen's attacks landed. Bang bang bang. Crack crack crack. In a series of crashing sounds, Wu Yazi was smashed into the soil. Cracks appeared on the 18 small shields, indicating that they were severely damaged. However, Wu Yazi's aura was still considered calm. In other words, Su Chen's 10,000 lights 10 shadows killing technique did not cause too much damage to Wu Yazi. After the attack, Su Chen's 10 shadows dissipated, and he also deactivated the Atlas polymorph skill. He returned to his original appearance, standing in the same spot, quietly waiting for Wu Yazi. After a few breaths, Wu Yazi shook the surrounding soil and jumped out of the deep pit. When he saw that the small shields were damaged, his face was pained, and at the same time, his heart trembled. Although these 18 small shields had not reached the quality of a sacred artifact, when combined, their defensive power was not much weaker than a sacred artifact. Even so, they were almost destroyed by Su Chen. From this, it could be seen how terrifying Su Chen's move was. He could even imagine that Su Chen did not need to reach the false sacred realm. As long as he advanced to level 10, he could easily kill him. "Senior, are you all right?" Seeing that Wu Yazi's complexion was not too good, Su Chen rubbed his nose and asked. "I'm fine." Wu Yazi coughed heavily, and his old face was flushed red. As a false sacred artifact, he was beaten to such a state by a level 9 cultivator. It was really embarrassing. "It's good that you're fine." Su Chen smiled. Wu Yazi caught his breath and stared blankly at Su Chen. He probed. "Su Chen, where did you get these 2 saint artifacts?" Whether it was the integrated 5 Extremes Mountain or the Primal Chaos Sky-Splitting Sword, they were both top-grade divine artifacts. It was already a great fortune to have one, but Su Chen had 2. How did he get it? This aroused Wu Yazi's interest. "Senior, the origin of the sacred artifact is related to my own secret. Please forgive me for not being able to tell you the truth," Su Chen said solemnly. Both the primary 5 Poles Mountain and the Chaos Sky-Splitting Sword came from the fragments. How could he tell others? Even if he said it out loud, Wu Yazi probably wouldn't believe him. Wu Yazi did not mind and continued. "You were planning on using one of the sacred artifacts to exchange for the primordial spirit sculpting fruit tree." In his opinion, Su Chen's 2 sacred artifacts were far more valuable than the primordial spirit sculpting fruit tree. It would be a great loss to exchange them. "Senior, you've misunderstood." Su Chen laughed and explained, "I have another sacred artifact." As he spoke, he took out the huge yellow sword. "Another sacred artifact?" Wu Yazi was surprised. He stared at the huge yellow sword and sensed the energy fluctuations it emitted. He clicked his tongue and said, "It really is a sacred artifact." Su Chen put away the huge yellow sword and said faintly, "Senior, shouldn't we talk about the matter of cooperation?" Wu Yazi nodded slightly. "We definitely have to talk, but before that, I have something to tell you." Chapter 690. "Senior, please speak your mind," Su Chen said with a smile. After all, Wu Yazi was a false saint, so it was reasonable for such a character to make some demands. Of course, the premise was that it couldn't be too excessive. "You should be able to sense that I'm not a human, right?" Wu Yazi slowly said. Su Chen nodded and asked, "Senior, what race are you from?" When he attacked, he felt that Wu Yazi's aura was very different from a human's, but he didn't know which race he was from. "This old man is from the dwarf race," Wu Yazi said in a deep voice. "Oh." Su Chen suddenly understood. When he was on the island of nothingness, he had seen many dwarves. The dwarf race's biggest characteristic was their short stature and strong physique, which was quite similar to Wu Yazi. Wu Yazi continued, "The reason why this old man wants to live on is for one purpose: revenge." "Revenge?" Su Chen's expression froze. At Wu Yazi's level, needless to say, his enemies were all false saints or even saints. As if thinking of the past, Wu Yazi was silent for a while and then sighed, "I have a junior brother called Ji Tsongzi. Originally, the two of us ruled the dwarf race's continent together, but Ji Tsongzi secretly plotted against me in order to monopolize the dwarf race's continent. It doesn't matter if I die, but the key is that Ji Tsongzi's rule is extremely bloody and cruel. I can't bear to see my people suffer, so I swore to kill Ji Tsongzi and have been looking for a way to prolong my life." Hearing this, Su Chen's heart moved slightly and asked, "Senior, is Ji Tsongzi a saint?" Considering that if he subdued Wu Yazi, he would have to help him take revenge, so he wanted to understand Ji Tsongzi's strength in advance. First level saint level. He might have reached the second level. Wu Yazi said with a grave expression. Could it be a second level saint? Su Chen took a deep breath and calmed down, then continued to ask, "Senior, why does Ji Tsongzi want to monopolize the dwarf race's continent?" At the saint level, it was reasonable to say that all of his thoughts should be focused on cultivation. What was the use of seizing the right to rule the continent? For the power of faith. Wu Yazi said solemnly. It was Su Chen's first time hearing about the power of faith. He couldn't help but perk up and listen quietly. Wu Yazi coughed lightly and continued, "It's as difficult as ascending to the heavens to take another step after reaching the saint stage. As for the power of faith, it can be considered as a shortcut to advancing cultivation. As long as the power of faith is condensed to a certain degree, it can be used to advance cultivation or condense an attack. That's why saint-level powerhouses value the power of faith very much. What does obtaining faith power have to do with ruling the continent?" Su Chen was somewhat puzzled. Wu Yazi explained with a smile, "The way to obtain faith power is to worship and obey a saint-rank powerhouse. Moreover, it has to come from the heart, or it has to be deeply rooted." Su Chen finally understood why Ji Tsongzi wanted to monopolize the dwarf continent. Wu Yazi and Ji Tsongzi were both saint-stage experts. Thus, their clansmen had two objects of faith. The amount of faith power they could condense would definitely not be as much as a single person. Ji Tsongzi was unwilling and secretly plotted against Wu Yazi. After the dwarf continent was ruled by Ji Tsongzi, it was inevitable that the clansmen who worshipped Wu Yazi would be massacred. Su Chen suddenly recalled that when he was in the Imperial Beast continent, he used the lives of the Imperial Beast tribe to threaten the Imperial Beast ancestor. At that time, he was a little puzzled as to why the Imperial Beast ancestor was so apprehensive. Now that he thought about it, the Imperial Beast ancestor was definitely doing it for the power of faith. Just think about it, if the clansmen were massacred, what would they use to condense the power of faith? Chapter 691. Senior, don't worry. As long as you agree to stay by my side, I can help you kill Ji Tsongzi, Su Chen vowed. Although he was only at level 8, killing Ji Tsongzi would not be a problem as long as he stepped into the saint stage. Moreover, he had advanced his cultivation by obtaining fragments, so it was only a matter of time before he advanced to the saint stage. Kill a saint stage existence? Wu Yazi was slightly stunned. He quickly reacted. With Su Chen's cultivation talent and strength that far exceeded those of the same level, he was confident that he could kill Ji Tsongzi even if he advanced to the false saint stage, let alone the saint stage. Thinking of this, Wu Yazi's heart surged, and he said without hesitation, "Okay, I agree to stay by your side and assist you." Su Chen was ecstatic, but he still looked calm on the surface. After thinking for a while, he said faintly, "Senior, if you agree to stay by my side, you still have to make an oath." After all, Wu Yazi was a false saint. Without the oath stone, he would not dare to take the risk to keep him by his side. Wu Yazi could understand this point and was about to make an oath. Su Chen took out the oath stone and interrupted him. "Senior, I hope you can make an oath on it." Oath stone? Wu Yazi was surprised and stunned for a moment. He smiled bitterly and said, "Looks like you've been eyeing this old man for a long time." "Senior, you're exaggerating." Su Chen smiled, neither admitting nor denying it. But Wu Yazi sighed. Now that things had come to this, there was no better choice. Thus, he happily swore an oath on the oath stone. Su Chen put away the oath stone, but his mouth was full of joy. The original purpose of this trip was to get the spirit sculpting fruit tree, but he did not expect to subdue a false saint. It was really a pleasant surprise. Su Chen, I've already made the oath. Shouldn't you show me something? Wu Yazi reminded him. Su Chen came back to his senses and said with a smile, Senior, please wait a moment. As soon as he finished speaking, he opened the planting space and took out a longevity fruit and gave it to Wu Yazi. What fruit is this? Wu Yazi was stunned when he sensed the extremely rich life energy coming from the fruit in his hand. It's called the longevity fruit. Consuming one can increase your lifespan by 10 years, Su Chen explained with a smile. 10 years. Wu Zi took a deep breath, unable to hide his excitement as he clenched his fists. Although 10 years wasn't a long time, as long as he could recover from his injuries within 10 years, he would be able to return to the saint stage, and his lifespan would also recover by quite a bit. Su Chen, thank you. Wu Yazi expressed his heartfelt gratitude. Su Chen was a man of his word. Giving him a longevity fruit was equivalent to giving him a second life. Senior, you're too courteous. Su Chen smiled and reminded him, Senior, you should take the longevity fruit as soon as possible. The longevity fruit wouldn't have any problems in the planting space, but once it left, its effects would fade. Wu Yazi reacted and swallowed the longevity fruit in a few mouthfuls. Soon, his complexion became flushed, and his body exuded a vigorous vitality. It's too magical. Wu Yazi sighed with emotion as he deeply felt the improvement in his body. Su Chen glanced at Wu Yazi, rubbed his nose, and said softly, Senior, can you give me the primordial spirit-shaping fruit tree? It's in the house, but I've already eaten the fruit on it. Wu Yazi pointed at the thatched house behind him and said embarrassedly. Hearing this, Su Chen's face darkened. If he wanted to split his second primordial spirit, he would need 10 primordial spirit-shaping fruits. It was impossible to do it without one. Fortunately, he still had the time accelerator. If he could install a high-grade energy stone, he could still harvest the fruit in a short period of time. Chapter 692. Thinking of this, Su Chen sighed and walked straight into the thatched hut. There was indeed a half-meter tall blue plant in the hut, emitting waves of mind power. After the life fruit tree confirmed that this plant was indeed the primordial spirit-shaping fruit tree, Su Chen happily stored it in the planting space. After a while, he walked out of the thatched hut and came to Wu Yazi's side. He glanced around and asked, Senior, can people live in this space? Considering that Wu Yang and the others would not be able to stay by his side when he entered the void battleground in the future, if this space could be used for people to live in, he could settle them down here. Wu Yazi replied, although the chaos space is a top-notch sacred weapon, it is not complete. It still lacks a few materials. It is not a problem to stay here for a short period of time, but I'm afraid it is not possible for a long period of time. Senior, you mean that as long as we find the materials we need, we can complete the space here and live in it for a long period of time? Su Chen probed. Wu Yazi nodded and replied with certainty, yes. Su Chen's expression changed. What else do you need? The importance of completing the chaos space was self-evident. He planned to use the remaining time to gather the materials. The other things are easy to sell. You can buy them in some big shops, but there are two things that are exceptionally precious and hard to find. Wu Yazi paused for a moment before continuing. One is the Imperial Earth, and the other requires a section of the corpse of a demonic plant evil creature. Hearing this, Su Chen's heart skipped a beat. He took out a section of the evil life fruit tree's corpse and asked, Senior, will this work? Wu Yazi looked at it and said excitedly, this is the corpse of the evil life fruit tree. Of course it will work. After saying that, he looked at Su Chen in shock. Su Chen was young, but he was powerful and talented. He also had many treasures on him. He even had an evil creature from the demonic plant lineage. This was really unexpected. Senior, what is the Imperial Earth? Su Chen asked. Imperial Earth is actually a type of soil, but it's not ordinary soil. It contains rich earth elemental essence. Not only can it improve the quality of the soil in the space, it's also very beneficial for the growth of plants. Wu Yazi explained. Su Chen suddenly thought. The planting dimension was very suitable for the growth of plants. Did the soil inside have the same effect as their royal earth? Thinking of this, he quietly opened the planting space, dug out a small pile, and placed it in front of Wu Yazi. Senior, what do you think of this soil? You still have royal earth? Wu Yazi cried out involuntarily with a single glance. It really is royal earth. Su Chen was also pleasantly surprised. After confirming that the soil in the planting dimension was royal earth, he now had the two main materials to repair the chaotic space. All he needed to do was buy a few other supplementary materials, and he would be able to completely repair the chaotic space. Su Chen, although this is the Imperial Earth technique, I'm afraid it's not enough. Wu Yazi came back to his senses and reminded him. Su Chen smiled faintly. How much do you need? With the size of the planting dimension, it wasn't a problem to get a ton of soil. If it still wasn't enough, he could use the upgrade gem to upgrade it and obtain a large amount of soil. Therefore, he didn't care about this point at all. Wu Yazi estimated and said, 5 kilograms should be enough. Only 5 kilograms? Su Chen shook his head. Previously, when he saw Wu Yazi's expression, he thought it would be a lot. 5 kilograms was simply a hair from 9 oxen. Su Chen directly dug out 10 kilograms and placed it in Wu Yazi's hand. Chapter 693. So much. Wu Yazi's eyes widened, and he was stunned again. Imperial soil wasn't cabbage, it was a treasure that could only be found by chance. Why didn't Su Chen look pained at all? Su Chen, you don't need so much. 12 caddies is enough. You can take back the rest, Wu Yazi said after catching his breath. Senior, just use it. I have plenty of this stuff. Su Chen didn't care at all. Plenty? Wu Yazi sucked in a breath of cold air and secretly speculated in his heart. Did Su Chen dig up an entire imperial soil mountain? Senior, shouldn't we go out? Su Chen reminded. They had been in Shisha Valley for quite some time. If they didn't go out soon, Chen Feng and the others would be worried. Okay, let's go out now. Wu Yazi laughed and waved his hand, but a door of light appeared in front of them. Then he walked through the door of light with Su Chen. When the two returned to the straw hut, Wu Yazi took off a black bracelet from his wrist and handed it to Su Chen. He said seriously, Su Chen, I've already removed the connection with the chaos space. I'll leave it in your care in the future. You're giving it to me? Su Chen opened his mouth slightly, almost thinking that he had misheard. Although the chaos space wasn't complete, its value wasn't below the planting space and pet-raising space. Wu Yazi gave it away just like that? Wasn't this too generous? Wu Yazi explained with a smile, if I want to return to the saint level, I must find a safe place to recuperate. When the chaos space is fully repaired, it will be the most suitable place. And once I enter the space, I need someone to properly protect the chaos space. You're the most suitable person. Thank you, Senior. Su Chen thanked him with great joy. The chaos space was too important to him, so he didn't decline. Su Chen, what are your plans after this? Wu Yazi asked after Su Chen dripped a drop of blood on it and wore the chaos space bracelet on his wrist. Su Chen didn't hide anything and told him about the plan. Hearing this, Wu Yazi pondered for a moment and said, Go to Heaven Seal City first. I'll meet up with you once I'm done here. All right, then let's meet in Sky Seal City. Su Chen responded, then left the thatched cottage and headed straight for the outskirts of Shisha Valley. When they saw Su Chen walking over, Chen Feng and the others all went up to him and asked, Junior brother Su, how was it? Did you see Grandmaster Wu Yazi? Su Chen smiled. Let's talk in the car. After saying that, he took the lead and walked towards the intelligent war chariot. Chen Feng and the other two exchanged glances and followed behind Su Chen. After returning to the car, Su Chen first instructed the intelligent war chariot, Satoshi, head to Heaven Seal City. After the intelligent war chariot ignited and left Shisha Valley, Su Chen said to Chen Feng, Senior brother Chen, it's not a big problem for you to modify your weapons, but we'll talk about it when we reach Heaven Seal City. Hearing this, Qin Feng and the other two were delighted at first, but then they were dumbfounded. Their weapons couldn't be modified by ordinary people. Perhaps only a blacksmith master like Wu Yazi could do it. Why would they leave Xixia Valley and head to Heaven Seal City? Could it be that Heaven Seal City also had a blacksmith master? Chen Feng and the other two were puzzled, but seeing that Su Chen didn't want to say more, they didn't ask any more. On the way, Su Chen called Shen Mengfei to his side and whispered, "Shen Mengfei, I'll give you this bottle of cultivation potion. You can leave now." According to their previous agreement, he would let Shen Mengfei go after finding the spirit-shaping fruit tree. Seeing that Shen Mengfei's performance was good recently, he gave her a bottle of level 4 constitution potion. Chapter 694. Shen Mengfei bit her lips. She did not reach out to take the potion. Instead, she said, "Senior, I want to stay here. Please don't chase me away." She had a deep understanding of the cruelty of the apocalypse. Finding a stable place to live was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. However, she would not have to worry about food and accommodation if she followed Su Chen. Even if she encountered danger, Su Chen could easily resolve it. Moreover, if she got along well, she would have the opportunity to obtain potions to increase her cultivation base. Where else could she find such a good place? Su Chen frowned slightly. He remembered clearly that Shen Mengfei used to cry and shout that she wanted to leave. Why did she change her mind so quickly? Could it be that women were all so fickle? Su Chen let Sister Shen stay. Tan Lin walked to Su Chen and persuaded him. Yang Qian and Shi Duo also spoke up for Shen Mengfei. During this period, they got along very well with Shen Mengfei. They could not bear to see Shen Mengfei being chased away. "Senior, please give me a chance." Shen Mengfei looked at Su Chen with pitiful eyes. Su Chen was not a cold-hearted person. Thinking that Shen Mengfei had helped him a lot during this period, coupled with Tan Lin and the other two's pleas, he agreed. "Stay." Su Chen threw the physique potion to Shen Mengfei. "Thank you, Senior." Shen Mengfei was overjoyed and quickly thanked him. Su Chen nodded, then walked to the side of Qin Feng and the other two and started talking with them. "Senior Brother Qin, where will the mysterious Heavenly Mainland Challenge be held after the Forgotten Autumn Mountain preliminaries?" "The location isn't fixed. The location will only be decided after the various major forces have finished their selections. However, generally speaking, it will be held at one of the 4 major forces," Qin Feng explained. "How many people are participating in the challenge? What's the method of the challenge?" Su Chen continued to ask. In order to obtain a slot to enter the Void Battleground, one must pass the mysterious Heavenly Mainland Challenge. Therefore, he was particularly concerned about this. "There are a total of 50 people, and they are also fighting in a chaotic manner," Qin Feng said directly. "So many people?" Su Chen was a little surprised. A place like Autumn Forgotten Mountain, where the 7 major forces gathered, only had 10 spots. The other 3 major forces each had at most 10 spots, right? Then who were the remaining 10 spots for? "Junior Brother Su, there's something you don't know. It's not only the 4 major forces from the mysterious Heavenly Mainland that are participating in the challenge. There are also many powerful forces from the islands overseas that have their own quotas," Qin Feng explained. "Oh." Su Chen was enlightened, and then they talked about other things. 3 days later, the intelligent war chariot successfully arrived at Tianfeng City. The scale of Tianfeng City wasn't very big, but it was quite famous. The reason was that the auction here was one of the best in the mysterious Heavenly Mainland. At every auction, there would always be 1 or 2 particularly precious treasures that would appear, and the void-breaking stone had once appeared. Therefore, every time an auction was held, it would attract a large number of people. When Su Chen and the others entered Tianfeng City, they saw that the city was bustling with people, and it was extraordinarily lively. After asking around, they found out that the auction would be held tomorrow, and many people had come for the auction. Moreover, they also heard a very important piece of news. The Wind Spiritual Stone and a few other treasures would be auctioned at the auction. Su Chen might not care about other things, but the Wind Spiritual Stone was different. The wind spiritual stone was something that could increase the flying speed of the intelligent war chariot. Naturally, he would not miss this opportunity. Chapter 695. Senior Brother Chen, let's stay here for a day. We'll attend the auction tomorrow, Su Chen said. Tianfeng City's auction was only held once every half a year. Chen Feng and the rest did not want to miss this opportunity and agreed. After that, everyone started to stroll around the city. When they turned into a street, a large group of guards suddenly appeared in front of them. The pedestrians on the street seemed to be very afraid and avoided them. Senior Brother Chen, are these the guards of Tianfeng City? Why are they so arrogant? Su Chen asked casually. They seem to be the personal guards of the Feng family. Chen Feng's face turned serious. Once the personal guards of the Feng family appeared, it meant that an important figure of the Feng family was here. Su Chen and the Feng family had a big feud. Would there be a conflict when the two met? Or even a fight? With Su Chen's style of doing things, Chen Feng felt that it was very possible. If it was an ordinary force, he would not be worried. The key was that the Feng family had a sage-level ancestor behind them. If they died in Su Chen's hands, it would be very troublesome. Feng family. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and looked forward. He saw that in the middle of the personal guards, there was a middle-aged man with a handsome face. He was talking with a slender and charming young woman. Behind the two of them was a middle-aged man with a cold expression. When Su Chen saw this person, a cold light suddenly shot out from his eyes. At the same time, an uncontrollable killing intent lingered in his heart. He saw clearly that the cold man was none other than the governor of Tianfeng City, Han Sanqian. Han Sanqian had tampered with the teleportation formation previously and almost killed them. Su Chen wanted to cut him into pieces. However, he was not in a hurry to make a move. Instead, he asked Chen Feng, Senior Brother Chen, who are the two guys in the middle? He had always suspected that there was someone behind Han Sanqian's destruction of the teleportation formation. Since they were with Han Sanqian, they might be in the same boat. He planned to catch all of them in one fell swoop. Chen Feng glanced over and his face sank again. He said in a low voice, That man is Feng Li, the monarch of the Wind Shi dynasty. The woman is Tang Jiaolin of the Assassin's League. After saying that, Chen Feng glanced at Su Chen and probed, Junior Brothers Su, you're not planning to find trouble with them, are you? None of them will survive. Su Chen's eyes were cold. He snorted and walked towards the Feng clan's guards. Junior Brothers Su, Chen Feng still wanted to persuade him, but when he thought of Su Chen's way of doing things, he sighed helplessly. Junior Brother Chen, why is Junior Brother Su going there? Lung Mai asked curiously when he saw Su Chen walking towards the Feng family's guards alone. Murder! Chen Feng said with a trembling voice. Murder? Kill who? Could it be Lung Mai's expression suddenly changed? He quickly chased after Su Chen. Chen Feng gritted his teeth and ran over with Xia Jingyi. Wu Yang and the rest didn't know what was going on, but they didn't think too much about it and followed closely behind. Stop, or you. When Su Chen came close, one of the guards pointed at Su Chen's nose and scolded. Su Chen didn't hold back and directly released his mental energy. There was a loud bang. The guard's head inexplicably exploded into a bloody mist. The headless corpse swayed a few times and fell heavily to the ground. Suddenly, the entire street fell into a strange silence. Everyone looked at Su Chen in horror. They didn't understand why this young man in front of them dared to kill someone. Was he crazy? He even dared to kill the Feng clan's guards. Chapter 696. Lun Mai and the others had just arrived at Su Chen's side when they saw this scene. They couldn't help but click their tongues. Killing people without a word was really in line with Su Chen's style of doing things. Perhaps only Su Chen dared to do this in the face of a big force like the Feng family. How dare you? You even dare to kill people of the Feng family. Are you tired of living? Seeing his own guards being killed, Feng Li was so angry that his nose was crooked. He roared at Su Chen. Ignorant people are fearless? Or are you fearless? Beside him, Tang Jiaolin looked at Su Chen with interest and muttered to herself. Why is he still alive? After seeing Su Chen's appearance, Han Sanqian's face changed greatly and his whole body trembled. No one knew Su Chen's strength better than him. When they were on Wangshu Island, Su Chen had set off a bloody storm. Not only did he eradicate the mutated races and zombies on Wangshu Island, but he also killed a group of experts. Su Chen's powerful strength and cruel means left an indelible impression on him. Originally, he thought that he could kill Su Chen by destroying the teleportation array. Who would have thought that Su Chen would actually appear in front of him alive? And with Su Chen's cruel means, it could be expected that he would not let him go. Thinking of this, Han Sanqian reminded in horror, "My lord, he is Su Chen." What? Feng Li's face changed. He glanced at Su Chen in surprise and said hatefully, "You're still alive?" It seems that the person who ordered Han Sanqian to tamper with the teleportation array is you. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and stared at Feng Li, a cold light flashing in his eyes. Senior brother Leng, when junior brother Su takes action, you have to stop Tang Jiaolin. Chen Feng whispered to Leng Mai when he saw the situation on the stage was so tense that swords were drawn. Tang Jiaolin was a level 8 cultivator who had entered the Void Battleground once. It was rumored that she had awakened a special ability. Other than Su Chen, Leng Mai was the only one who could exchange 2 blows with her. As for Mo Rong, although he was also level 8, he was just a normal level 8 player. If he were to fight against Tang Jiaolin, he might be killed in one hit. Leng Mai nodded solemnly. Su Chen was about to join the Sun Moon Star Palace and could already be considered one of them. No matter what the other party's background was, as long as Su Chen made a move, he would not sit idly by. "Su Chen, did you kill my son? If you can kill my son, why can't I kill you?" Feng Li recovered from his initial panic and sneered. He then turned to Tang Jiaolin and said, "Junior Tang, please kill this person. My family's ancestor will reward you handsomely." Hearing this, Tang Jiaolin's eyes flashed. She glanced at Su Chen and said coldly, "A mere junior from an island in the outer sea dares to kill someone from the mysterious heavenly continent. He's simply courting death and bullying. Today, I'll help senior brother Feng get rid of this scourge." Just as she was about to make a move, Leng Mai stepped forward and shouted, "Tang Jiaolin, I'm warning you. Junior brother Su is from the Sun Moon Star Palace. If you make a move on him, you're going against the entire Sun Moon Star Palace." Leng Mai's words caused an uproar. The Sun Moon Star Palace was the most powerful force in the Forgotten Autumn Mountain. Although it was only one of the 7 major forces, in terms of influence, it was even more influential than the Wenxi dynasty. At this moment, they all thought that Su Chen dared to make a move because of his identity. Chapter 697. Someone from Sun Moon Star Palace? After learning about Su Chen's true identity, Tang Jiaolin's brows furrowed. Sun Moon Star Palace was the #1 faction in Forgotten Autumn Mountain. Even the Assassin's Alliance did not dare to provoke them. At this moment, Tang Jiaolin had already put away her arrogance and seemed to be hesitating. Feng Li, who was beside her, saw that Tang Jiaolin had given up. He gritted his teeth and said, "Junior sister Tang, I can guarantee that Su Chen is definitely not from Sun Moon Star Palace. He came from the outer sea and has never been to Sun Moon Star Palace. Also, if junior sister Tang agrees to kill Su Chen, I can give you 100 void crystal stones." Really? Tang Jiaolin was a little tempted. Void stones were different from energy stones. They were dug out from the body of a void beast. Even the lowest grade was no less valuable than a grade 6 energy stone. 100 void stones were definitely a huge fortune. With this wealth, she could very well advance to grade 9. Moreover, after learning that Su Chen was not an official disciple of Sun Moon Star Palace, the fear in her heart lessened a lot. "Junior sister Tang, don't worry. 100 void stones, not one less," Feng Li promised solemnly. "I agree to this deal," Tang Jiaolin replied. Tang Jiaolin responded, and a layer of murderous intent appeared on her face. "Tang Jiaolin, do you really want to fall out with Sun Moon Star Palace?" Leng Mai glared at Tang Jiaolin and roared. He had already revealed Su Chen's identity, but Tang Jiaolin was still stubborn. This made him extremely angry. Su Chen did not care. He rubbed his nose and said indifferently, "Senior brother Leng, leave this matter to me." Junior brother Su, Tang Jiaolin has entered the void battleground. It is very likely that she has awakened a special ability. You have to be careful, Chen Feng hurriedly reminded. Since they had already fallen out, with Su Chen's style, he would definitely not let Tang Jiaolin go. Worried that Su Chen would be careless, he quickly pointed out Tang Jiaolin's strength. "You've entered the void battleground before. No wonder you're so arrogant." Su Chen murmured and then said to Chen Feng, "Don't worry, it's just a bitch. She can't do anything." When he was at level 7, he could already kill a level 9 super expert. Once they reached level 8, they would be able to compete with false saints. So what if a mere level 8 cultivator had entered the void battleground? Su Chen's words clearly entered Tang Jiaolin's ears, causing her to fly into a rage. "You're courting death." Tang Jiaolin gritted her teeth and lightly shouted. Holding a silver spear in her hand, she quickly rushed towards Su Chen. The corner of Su Chen's mouth twitched, revealing a look of disdain. Just as Tang Jiaolin's spear was about to pierce him, a purple light flashed on his feet. Then, his figure blurred and disappeared. "Not good." Tang Jiaolin's spear missed and she cried out in alarm. Originally, she thought that Su Chen would take the opportunity to attack her. She quickly swept her silver spear behind her, but it still missed. "He didn't attack me?" Tang Jiaolin reacted and quickly turned around. She saw that Su Chen had already appeared in front of Han Sanqian. "Senior, Su, spare my life." Seeing that Su Chen was like a god of death, with a strong murderous aura all over his body, Han Sanqian was so scared that his liver and guts were about to burst. He screamed loudly, "Die!" Su Chen snorted coldly and smashed his fist down. There was a loud bang. Han Sanqian was blasted into a fine powder without any resistance. Hiss! Seeing that Su Chen had killed a level 6 cultivator with a single punch, the surrounding onlookers gasped. They looked at Su Chen with deep respect and fear. Chapter 698. Level 8 Cultivator. Feng Li and Tang Jiaolin's expressions were unusually grave. Su Chen was so young, yet he had such a high cultivation level. It was really unexpected. Junior brother Su has advanced to level 8? Chen Feng and the other two were also shocked. Su Chen was clearly only at level 7 a few days ago. How did he reach level 8 in the blink of an eye? This speed of advancement is too terrifying, isn't it? On the other side, after Su Chen killed Han Sanqian, he narrowed his eyes and looked at Feng Li, exuding a bone-chilling coldness in his eyes. After being glanced at by Su Chen, Feng Li trembled all over and couldn't help but slowly retreat. He knew very well that Su Chen wanted to kill him. His heart was beating violently, and he shouted at Tang Jiaolin, "Junior sister Tang, save me. Even if a sage-level expert is here, you must die today." Su Chen snorted coldly and swept towards Feng Li with a violent murderous aura. "How dare you!" Tang Jiaolin shouted softly, and her body was suddenly covered by a layer of bright starlight. With the appearance of this layer of starlight, her figure disappeared in the blink of an eye. When she reappeared, she was already in front of Feng Li. It was as if she had teleported, and it was very strange. Teleportation? Su Chen raised his eyebrows and released his mental strength to crush Feng Li. "Junior sister Tang, I'm restrained." Feng Li shouted anxiously. At this critical moment, a yellow armor appeared on his body and barely blocked the invisible force that was crushing towards him. However, he couldn't move at all and could only watch as Su Chen rushed over. "You're courting death." Tang Jiaolin's face showed a touch of anger, and then her long spear pierced towards Su Chen's chest. Feeling a fierce murderous aura coming at him, Su Chen turned a blind eye to it. He leaned forward and threw a punch at Feng Li. His ancient god-fiend body could ignore any attack of the same level. Therefore, Tang Jiaolin's attack was directly ignored by him. Why didn't junior brother Su dodge? Leng Mai and the other two were extremely nervous. Tang Jiaolin's spear contained a powerful killing intent. Unexpectedly, Su Chen did not dodge or evade. Instead, he used his physical body to resist the attack. This made them very confused. Clang, along with the sound of metal clashing. However, Tang Jialin's spear accurately hit Su Chen's chest, creating a series of sparks as a shallow wound appeared on his chest. Su Chen frowned slightly as he felt a stinging pain. Tang Jialin's attack was actually able to break through his defense. It was obvious that the long spear was not an ordinary item. However, this little bit of attack power could only scratch his skin at most. It was impossible for it to cause a fatal injury to him. How is this possible? Seeing that Su Chen had used his physical body to withstand her strongest attack without suffering much damage, Tang Jialin's heart trembled. Her eyes were filled with fear, as if she had seen a ghost. What a powerful physical body! Cries of surprise rang out from all around. Su Chen's physical body was so strong that it was beyond imagination. Everyone felt that it was incomparably incredible. Chen Feng and the other two looked at each other and were also inexplicably shocked. On the other side, Su Chen clenched his golden fist and punched Feng Li. No! Feng Li let out a desperate roar. Finally, with a loud roar, his entire head was blasted into a blood mist and he died on the spot. How dare you kill Feng Li? Tang Jialin glanced at Feng Li's headless body and the corners of her mouth trembled. Feng Li had the support of a sage ancestor. Su Chen still dared to kill him unscrupulously. Wasn't he afraid of angering the sage ancestor? Chapter 699. You're the only one left. Su Chen's gaze drifted and landed on Tang Jialin. The corners of his mouth curled into a mocking smile. Tang Jialin's body trembled. She looked at Su Chen in a daze and sneered, "I'm from the Assassin League. Do you dare to kill me?" After seeing how powerful Su Chen was, she knew that she was no match for Su Chen. However, she didn't think that Su Chen would dare to kill her because of her identity. Su Chen looked at Tang Jialin as if he was looking at a fool and said sarcastically, "Between you and Feng Li, whose identity is more respected?" What he meant was that he even dared to kill someone who had the backing of a sage-level ancestor. She was just a disciple of the Assassin League. She was nothing. Tang Jialin came back to her senses and her heart trembled. Su Chen dared to kill Feng Li. He was indeed qualified to look down on her. I admit that I'm no match for you. However, it's wishful thinking for you to kill me. Tang Jialin snorted. Her body was covered with a layer of dazzling starlight again, and her whole body became illusory. Since she couldn't defeat Su Chen, she could only escape from this place. At this moment, she was using the space teleportation ability that she had awakened in the void battlefield. She was confident that she could escape from Su Chen. You think you can escape? Su Chen sneered. He was not in a hurry to make a move. Instead, the moment Tang Jialin disappeared, he stepped into the void and walked into the air step by step. Then he released his mental strength, which swept out in all directions. Although space teleportation was very strange, Tang Jialin had only grasped a little of it. The distance she could teleport was also very limited. Moreover, this kind of teleportation ability consumed a lot of energy. It couldn't be used continuously. He had used a similar ability to kill Emo Xilian. At that time, she couldn't escape from him. He's flying. Seeing Su Chen standing in the air, the onlookers on the ground were stunned. Junior brother Su's methods are truly endless. Chen Feng and the other two were shocked as well. Their eyes were wide open as they looked at Su Chen from afar. Their eyes were filled with admiration and envy. Su Chen, who was standing in the sky, quickly captured a very strong energy wave through his mind power. This energy fluctuation appeared inside a house and was invisible to the naked eye. You're pretty smart. Su Chen smiled contemptuously and flew towards the house. There was a rumbling sound. The whole house was crushed by Su Chen's foot. Just as the house collapsed, a slender figure scrambled out of the rubble. It was Tang Jialin. The moment Tang Jialin appeared, Su Chen rushed forward. It was already too late for Tang Jialin to use her teleportation divine ability. She could only grit her teeth and use her spear to block Su Chen's attack. Su Chen closed in and swung his saber. A terrifying chill quickly spread out, and a white torrent swept up, easily sealing Tang Jiaolin and her spear in ice. Tang Jiaolin, who was frozen, didn't die. Her face was filled with deep fear. She struggled desperately, trying to break free from the ice. However, Su Chen wouldn't give her the chance. With a punch, Tang Jiaolin was instantly torn into pieces. Su Chen picked up the spear that fell on the ground. He casually glanced at it and put it in his storage bag. Then, he turned around and returned to his original spot. Disperse. Because the commotion was too big, the number of onlookers in the surroundings had reached thousands. Su Chen glanced at them coldly and snorted. Whoosh! As soon as Su Chen finished speaking, the crowd dispersed like the tide. Chapter 700. Let's leave this place too. Su Chen called out and led the way to other places. After that, everyone strolled around the city. However, because Feng Li and the others were killed, the people in Tianfeng City were in a state of panic and chaos. Su Chen lost interest in strolling around and took out the intelligent war chariot and told everyone to stay in the chariot. Senior brother Chen, will the auction be held as scheduled tomorrow? Su Chen asked worriedly. Feng Li was the monarch of the Wenshi dynasty after all. His death had great implications and could affect the auction. Because the Wind Spiritual Stone would appear in the auction, if it couldn't be held, he had to prepare in advance and get the Wind Spiritual Stone no matter what. It shouldn't be a big problem, Qin Feng replied. Then he explained, Feng Li is only the ruler of the Wind Shi dynasty in name. All the major forces are in a state of autonomy. Although Feng Li's death will affect them, it won't cause them to panic. That's good. Su Chen nodded and stopped paying attention to this matter. After a while, he sat in the driver's seat and closed his eyes to rest. At night, the chaos space bracelet on his wrist suddenly lit up with a faint light. Su Chen was delighted and quickly got up to open the door. Senior, you're finally here, Su Chen greeted with a smile. The person who came was none other than Wu Yazi. I heard that Feng Li and a disciple of the Assassin Alliance were killed in Tianfeng City. Could it be you? Wu Yazi probed as soon as he got on the chariot. I killed them. Su Chen didn't deny it. Hearing this, Wu Yazi clicked his tongue. When he first saw Su Chen, he felt that Su Chen was a daring person. He didn't expect Su Chen to kill the monarch of the Wind Shi dynasty the moment he came to Tianfeng City. The extent of his unscrupulousness was far beyond his imagination. However, when he thought of Su Chen's invincible strength, he didn't say much. The people in the car were stunned at first when they saw a short and unfamiliar old man get on the car, who seemed to be very familiar with Su Chen. However, after seeing the old man's appearance, Shen Mengfei and Leng Mai couldn't remain calm because they had seen Wu Yazi before. The two of them cried out in alarm, Grandmaster Wu Yazi, why are you here? What? He's Grandmaster Wu Yazi? The others were so shocked that they couldn't close their mouths and looked at Wu Yazi in unison. Wu Yazi was a famous blacksmith in the mysterious heavenly continent. Why would he come here at night? Moreover, he seemed to have a good relationship with Su Chen. This made everyone very puzzled. So it's you, little girl. Wu Yazi looked at Shen Mengfei and smiled faintly. He had no impression of Leng Mai, but he had some impression of Shen Mengfei. After all, the primordial spirit-shaping fruit tree was sold to him by Shen Mengfei. Senior Wu Yazi is my own person from now on. Su Chen closed the car door and explained with a smile. His own person? Everyone was slightly stunned. If Su Chen said that Wu Yazi was his own person, it meant that Wu Yazi would be with them in the future. However, what they couldn't figure out was that Su Chen had only met Wu Yazi once. How did he rope Wu Yazi to his side? Chen Gu is really awesome. Yang Hao sighed from the bottom of his heart. His eyes were filled with admiration. Not only was Su Chen powerful, but his method of roping people in was also extraordinary. He even managed to get someone like Wu Yazi to his side. There seemed to be nothing in this world that Su Chen couldn't do. Chapter 701. Su Chen is right. We'll be on the same side in the future. I don't have any other skills, but I'm proficient in refining weapons. If anyone wants to refine or modify weapons, feel free to ask. Wu Yazi chuckled. Such a casual remark quickly drew the relationship between them closer. Chen Feng and the other two were immediately excited. They originally wanted to go to Xixia Valley to find Wu Yazi to improve the quality of their weapons. Now that Wu Yazi had taken the initiative to ask, they naturally wouldn't miss this opportunity. The three of them each took out their weapons and asked Wu Yazi for help. Modifying ordinary weapons was a piece of cake for Wu Yazi, so he agreed immediately. Of course, modifying weapons still required entering the chaos space. Now that the chaos space had been given to Su Chen, they still needed to obtain Su Chen's permission to enter. I'll ask Senior to help you modify your weapons in a few days, Su Chen said casually. He planned to prepare the other supplementary materials tomorrow and completely stabilize the chaos space before letting Wu Yazi enter. Besides, Wu Yazi had just arrived and hadn't said a few words. It was too unreasonable to ask him to do such hard work. Although Chen Feng and the other two were a little anxious, they could understand. It was nothing more than waiting for a few days. Later, Su Chen asked Yang Hao and the others to prepare the meal while he communicated with Wu Yazi. Senior, can you repair divine artifacts? The 5 elements heavenly dipper seal was seriously damaged. If it couldn't be repaired, it wouldn't be of much use and would become useless. Repair divine artifacts? Wu Yazi was slightly stunned. He remembered clearly that Su Chen's 3 divine artifacts were all intact. Why did he need to repair them? Could there be another divine artifact? Thinking of this, Wu Yazi took a deep breath and probed. Su Chen, you don't have another divine artifact, do you? Senior, I do have a seriously damaged divine artifact. As Su Chen spoke, he took out the 5 elements heavenly dipper seal and placed it in front of Wu Yazi. Junior brother Su has another saint weapon? Leng Mai was surprised. Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi were very calm. They knew that Su Chen had won the 5 elements heavenly gang seal at the auction on Chongshu Island. Chen Feng whispered to Leng Mai, Senior brother Ling, junior brother Su has 2 more sacred weapons other than this broken sacred weapon and the small mountain. There are 2 more? Leng Mai's eyes widened, and he held his breath. Wu Yazi took the 5 elements heavenly dipper seal and carefully examined it for a while. Then he slowly said, the power of the 5 elements is missing the earth, wood, metal, and fire elements. It will be very difficult to repair it. Su Chen's expression turned serious as he asked, Senior, is there any hope of repairing it? The power of earth can be replaced by imperial earth, and the power of gold can be replaced by blood gems. Also, I heard that a level 7 fire beauty pill will be sold at the auction tomorrow. It can replace the power of fire, but the power of wood is not easy to find. Wu Yazi thought for a moment and said in a deep voice, the power of wood. Su Chen pondered for a moment and then said, Senior, can we replace it with the branch of the tree of life? Wu Yazi thought that Su Chen was talking about the wooden staff. He shook his head and said, although the wooden staff is made of the branch of the tree of life, it has been processed once and is still a dead object. It can't be replaced. Su Chen reminded him, Senior, I'm talking about the branch of the tree of life that is still alive. You have the tree of life? Wu Yazi's eyes suddenly lit up. No, but I know where it is. I'll look for it in the future, Su Chen explained. I see. Wu Yazi sighed and said with certainty, the tree of life is the top wood element spiritual plant in the world. Its branch can be used as a replacement. Chapter 702. Su Chen relaxed and started to talk about other things. When Yang Hao finished preparing the food, everyone ate and chatted until late at night. As they still had to participate in the auction tomorrow, Su Chen let everyone sleep. The next day, the Tianfeng City auction was held as scheduled. Just as Chen Feng had predicted, Feng Li's death did not cause much of an impact. Su Chen bought a private room ticket and brought everyone into the auction. Wu Yazi did not follow because he had to buy materials to stabilize the chaos space. However, before they parted, he reminded Su Chen that he must get the level 7 fire jade pill and not let go of anything good. With Su Chen's style, he would not let go of anything that caught his eye. This was the same as Wu Yazi's. After waiting in the private room for a while, the auction began. Like other auctions, The host was still a young and beautiful woman. The female host briefly introduced the rules and announced the start of the auction. The first item to be auctioned was actually a wind spirit stone. The starting price of the wind spiritual stone was 2,000 energy stones, and each increment must be no less than 100 energy stones. When the female host announced the start of the auction, Su Chen pressed the button impatiently and raised the price to 10,000 energy stones. 10,000 energy stones might be an astronomical figure to others, but it was nothing to him. He had countless energy stones, and with the ones that Wu Yazi had accumulated over the years, his wealth could rival a country. Hence, he acted as if he was determined to get it. Junior brother Su is really rich. Lung Mai clicked his tongue. Su Chen took out 10,000 energy stones at once, which really shocked him a little. The others were very calm. They had seen such a scene more than once and were used to it. Private Room 17 bids 10,000 energy stones, the female host shouted excitedly. Private Room 17 was the private room that Su Chen and the others were in. Although 10,000 energy stones was not a low price, it was obviously impossible to bid for the wind spiritual stone. If they were willing to bid, someone else would bid. The price of wind spirit stones continued to rise. In the blink of an eye, it had reached the height of 16,000 energy stones. Su Chen was very disdainful, and he made a second bid of 20,000 energy stones. This price almost exceeded the value of the wind spirit stones. After a long pause, the third private room bid 21,000 energy stones. Su Chen did not hesitate to bid 25,000, completely defeating the other party and successfully obtaining the wind spirit stone. When the waiter brought the wind spirit stone over, Su Chen immediately installed it on the intelligent war chariot and started talking to it. Satoshi, with the wind spirit stone, how fast can you fly? At least 1,000 kilometers per hour, the intelligent war chariot replied affirmatively. Not bad. The corners of Su Chen's mouth rose involuntarily. With this speed, it would be much easier to travel to other places in the future. However, he also knew that one wind spiritual stone was far from enough. If he wanted more, he would have to make a trip to the Manyu Shrine. After that, the auction continued. Because all the items that were auctioned were weapons, Su Chen was not interested and did not bid again. After the weapons were auctioned, the next items to be auctioned were ores and the like. After communicating with the intelligent war chariot, Su Chen chose some useful ores and spent a few universal stones to obtain a few. Junior brother Chen, how rich is junior brother Su? Leng Mai asked Chen Feng in a low voice. Chen Feng only knew that Su Chen was very rich, but he did not know how many energy stones he had. After thinking for a while, he replied, unfathomable. Chapter 703. The next item is still a piece of ore. Unlike other ores, this ore has a great background and I'm sure everyone has heard of it. As the beautiful MC spoke, she took out a piece of stone that shone with starlight and showed it to everyone. Space-breaking stone. Many of the people who attended the auction recognized the space-breaking stone, and they immediately exclaimed in surprise. The entire auction was in an uproar. Su Chen was even more excited and his breathing became rapid. The intelligent war chariot still lacked a piece of space-breaking stone to activate the function of traversing between domains. Originally, he did not know where to look for it, but he did not expect to encounter one here. That's right, this is the space-breaking stone. I'm sure everyone knows the value of the space-breaking stone. The starting price is 10,000 energy stones and each increment is at least 500 energy stones. The beautiful MC announced the start of the auction. However, although the space-breaking stone caused a lot of commotion, there were very few people who participated in the auction. The reason was that the space-breaking stone was mainly used for domain passages and teleportation formations. It was only attractive to some large forces. To ordinary cultivators, it was not very significant. Therefore, the space-breaking stone became a priceless item and there was an awkward silence. Su Chen liked to see such a situation. In this way, he would spend less energy stones. After waiting for a while, no one made a bid. Su Chen was worried that it would not be sold and was about to announce the starting price when Room 7 suddenly made a bid, and it was 20,000 energy stones. Looking at his posture, he was determined to get the space-breaking stone. Su Chen frowned slightly and didn't hesitate in the slightest to bid 30,000 energy stones. Room 7 followed suit and bid 40,000 energy stones. Su Chen bid 50,000 energy stones. Room 7 hesitated for a while and bid 60,000 energy stones again. 60,000 energy stones had far exceeded the value of the space-breaking stone. The moment this price appeared, the entire auction was in an uproar. Everyone exclaimed at the high price and guessed the identity of Room 7. Junior brother Su, it's not worth it if you continue to bid. Chen Feng was worried that Su Chen would be swayed by his emotions and reminded him. Su Chen's eyes narrowed slightly, and he pondered deeply for a moment before he raised the price to 70,000 energy stones. The importance of the void-breaking stone to him was self-evident. No matter who his opponent was, he would not give it up submissively. You want to compete with me? He had yet to meet a worthy opponent. Booth 17 bids 70,000 energy stones. The female host shouted loudly. Perhaps because of his excitement, his voice was trembling. Boom! The auction hall was in an uproar. Originally, all of them thought that 60,000 energy stones was already a sky-high price, and no one would make another bid. Who would have thought that Room 17 would raise the price to 70,000? They were deeply shocked. Moreover, they also recalled that Booth 17 had continuously bid for quite a few things before, and had already spent tens of thousands of energy stones, yet he still had the spare energy to bid for the void-piercing stone at a high price. His wealth was so great that it made people gasp in amazement. Hiss! Lung Mai took a deep breath. Today, he had seen Su Chen's domineering side. As soon as the price of 70,000 energy stones was announced, Room 7 ceased all activity. Su Chen also successfully obtained the space-breaking stone. Later on, the auction continued. The item being auctioned was a demonic beast core, which was the level 7 Fire Jade Pill. Not only could the Fire Jade Pill help a Fire Attribute Dharma Psyche Master increase their cultivation, but it could also be used to refine weapons that contained Fire Attribute power. Therefore, its popularity was still relatively high, and there were more people participating in the auction. Chapter 704. The Fire Jade Pill was one of the main ingredients to repair the 5 elements Heavenly Dipper Seal. Wu Yazi had told him about it long ago, so Su Chen naturally would not miss it. Box 6 bid 5,000 energy stones. Box 59 bid 5,500 energy stones. Box 1809 bid 6,000 energy stones. Su Chen was not in a hurry to make a move. He waited for a while, and when the price soared to 10,000 energy stones, he directly raised the price to 15,000 energy stones. Once this price was announced, the auction became restless again. With the value of a level 7 Fire Jade Pill, it was reasonable to bid for 15,000 energy stones. Most importantly, it was Box 17 who made the bid again. Box 17 had spent more than 100,000 energy stones from start to finish, and he actually wanted to bid for the Fire Jade Pill again. This made everyone very depressed and helpless. After seeing Box 17 make a bid, the rest of the bidders gave up. They all knew that it was meaningless to continue competing with a real tycoon like Box 17. Just as the hostess was about to announce that the Fire Jade Pill belonged to Box 17, Box 7 suddenly made a bid and raised the price to 20,000 energy stones. Box 7 had competed with Box 17 for the void-breaking stone before and had lost. Everyone guessed that Box 7 was trying to take revenge. Or was he really determined to get the Fire Jade Pill? Su Chen narrowed his eyes and pondered for a while, then made a bid of 21,000 energy stones. Box 7 seemed to want to fight to the death, and immediately made a bid of 25,000 energy stones. This price should have far exceeded the value of the Fire Jade Pill. If it were someone else, they would probably consider it. But Su Chen did not hesitate to make another bid of 30,000. This time, Box 7 did not make another bid. Although Su Chen obtained the Fire Jade Pill as he wished, he was not very happy. Box 7 obviously did not want to bid for the Fire Jade pill, but deliberately made things difficult for him, making him spend more than 10,000 energy stones for nothing. Su Chen was someone who was never willing to suffer a loss. He secretly thought of a countermeasure. At this moment, the next item appeared. This item was a blood-red bead. Other than being a little flirtatious, there was nothing special about it. Su Chen did not pay much attention to it. But after Mo Rong took a look, he suddenly shouted, "Undead blood bead." Undead blood orb? What was that? Everyone was confused and looked at Mo Rong. Mo Rong took a deep breath and explained, "The undead spirit blood orb is something that a holy level undead expert condenses with his blood essence when he is nearing the end of his life." So it's a set of treasures? Su Chen's expression changed. Putting everything else aside, just the fact that it was the blood essence of a saint-level powerhouse was enough to attract his attention. It's true that it's a treasure, but to ordinary cultivators, it won't be of any help at all. It might even cause some adverse reactions. At this point, Mo Rong paused for a moment. After taking a deep breath, he continued, "But to the evil cultivators of the undead clan, it is a treasure. They can be used to rapidly increase one's cultivation base, and they can also be used to cultivate some very evil divine abilities." Since it was an evil item, Su Chen no longer paid attention to it. Soon, the auction for the undead blood orbs officially began. As the female host did not give much introduction to the undead blood orbs, there were very few bidders who did not know what effects it had. However, Su Chen noticed that Box 7 was one of the bidders. And every time someone made a bid, Box 7 would immediately raise the price. Seeing this, Su Chen's lips curled into an almost undetectable cold smile. Chapter 705. Booth 7 was obviously very interested in the dead spirit's blood orb. How could Su Chen let him have it so easily? When the price soared to 10,000 energy stones, the other competitors all gave up. The one who made the bid was Booth 7. If no one else made a bid, the dead spirit's blood orb would belong to Booth 7. Su Chen pursed his lips and made a bid of 20,000 energy stones. Look, Booth 17 has made a bid again. He's going against Booth 7 again. Who's going to win this time? Seeing Booth 17 make a bid, the auction hall was once again filled with heated discussions. "Master, you want to bid for the dead spirit's blood orb?" Mo Rong asked doubtfully. The dead spirit's blood orb was only effective on the dead spirit race. As a human, Su Chen would be useless even if he won it. "I don't want it, but I can't let that guy get it so easily." Su Chen smiled. Mo Rong immediately realized that Su Chen was trying to take advantage of Booth 7. The price of 20,000 energy stones did not last long. Booth 7 quickly made a bid of 30,000 energy stones. Su Chen hesitated for a moment before raising it to 40,000. Booth 7 did not make a move for a long time after the bid was made. Just when everyone thought that VIP Room 17 would win the bid again, VIP Room 7 made a bid. When the bid was made, the entire auction hall fell into a suffocating silence. Even Su Chen and the rest were so shocked that they could not close their mouths. To everyone's surprise, Booth 7 made a bid of 100,000 energy stones. Ever since the Tianfeng City auction was held, there had never been such a high bid. A total of 100,000 energy stones. Everyone was inexplicably shocked. Is this guy crazy? Su Chen clicked his tongue. His mind was racing. As a rich and overbearing local tycoon, he had bid quite a lot of things at the auction. However, he had never spent 100,000 in one go to bid for an item. It was not that he was unwilling to spend energy stones, but none of the items that appeared at the auction were worth that much. The dead spirit's blood orb was worth at most 10,000 to 20,000. Why would Booth 7 spend such a high price to bid for it? There were only two possibilities for such a situation to occur. Firstly, it was out of spite. Secondly, the departed spirit blood orb was of great use to the people in Room 7. Su Chen pondered for a moment and felt that the first possibility was almost impossible. Because even if it was just a fit of pique, there was no need to raise the price so ridiculously. Once the price of 100,000 was announced, the undead blood orb was basically a lost cause. no one would be foolish enough to bid again. After eliminating the first possibility, there was only the second one left. The undead spirit blood orb was only effective on heretic practitioners of the undead spirit race. Therefore, there must be a heretic practitioner of the undead spirit race in room 7. Thinking of this, Su Chen quickly contacted the intelligent war chariot. Satoshi, lock onto room 7 and zoom in on the image inside. Master, it's shrouded in a layer of blood-red mist. I can't see the situation inside, the intelligent war chariot immediately replied. Hearing this, Su Chen frowned and fell into deep thought. Meanwhile, the beautiful MC shouted excitedly, Room 7 has bid 100,000 energy stones. Are there any other bids? After waiting for a while and seeing that no one was bidding, she immediately announced that Room 7 had won the bid. Very soon, an attendant entered Room 7 with the undead spirit blood orb. Unexpectedly, as soon as the waiter entered Room 7, a blood-curdling scream came from inside. At the same time, there was a loud explosion. Room 7 exploded, and an extremely strong bloody stench rushed out from inside. In the blink of an eye, it filled the entire auction. Chapter 706. Faced with this sudden change, the entire auction house fell into a state of panic. Su Chen's eyelids twitched and he was about to go out to check on the situation. A dragon's roar resounded in the auction house. After the dragon's roar, a strong evil aura swept out. Chingo, I'm a little dizzy. Yang Hao kept shaking his head, looking like he was on the verge of collapsing. Tan Lin and the rest were also feeling dizzy. Junior brothers Su, something's wrong, Chen Feng said with a serious expression. As his cultivation level was higher, he was not like Yang Hao and the rest for the time being. However, there was an inexplicable murderous intent in his heart, and even his eyes were bloodshot. Su Chen could guess that this situation must have something to do with the evil aura that swept over. He had the ancient god-fiend body and was not afraid of any evil beings. However, the same could not be said for the rest. He had to think of a way to stop it. Master, the other party should be using a powerful blood magic of the undead race. We have to leave here immediately. Otherwise, we will not be able to extricate ourselves from it, Mo Rong hurriedly reminded. The blood magic of the undead race? It must have something to do with Room 7. Thinking of this, Su Chen quickly opened the chaos space and said to everyone, go inside. Generally speaking, the blood magic was very strange and evil. He did not dare to let everyone stay outside for too long. Although the chaos space was not complete, it would not be a problem to stay inside for a period of time. With this buffer period, he could kill the evil cultivator of the undead race. Due to the urgency of the situation, he did not have time to explain much. Fortunately, everyone trusted him and didn't ask any questions. They all walked into the chaos space. When everyone entered the primal chaos space, Su Chen smashed the box with a punch. Along with a large amount of wood shavings falling, everything in sight was blood red. It was as if they had entered a blood-red sea. The thick smell of blood rolled over from time to time. Even with the ancient god-fiend body, he felt a little breathless. What a terrifying blood magic! Su Chen's heart tightened. He narrowed his eyes and looked around. The people in the auction house were struggling in pain. Many people with lower cultivation could not bear the pain and had already hanged themselves. However, the strange thing was that the blood essence of those dead people seemed to be attracted and flew towards a certain place in the air. Su Chen raised his head and swept a glance. His brows couldn't help but furrow. A huge blood-red coffin was floating in the air above the auction house. A man in a red robe was standing on top of the coffin. Judging from his aura, he was a level 8 cultivator. Moreover, Su Chen also noticed that there were 9 thick blood-red dragons flying around the blood-red coffin. Each blood dragon was about 100 meters long and had a ferocious appearance. At this moment, they were opening their bloody mouths and continuously devouring the blood essence flying past them. As it devoured more and more essence blood, the color of the blood-red coffin became darker and darker. At the same time, It faintly radiated with a devastating energy pulse. Human, why aren't you affected by my 9 dragons' blood spiritual array? The man in the blood-red robe muttered when he saw that Su Chen was unaffected. Su Chen did not say a word. As his eyes gradually narrowed, he leaped up and rushed straight towards the man in the blood-red robe. You're courting death. Seeing that Su Chen actually dared to take the initiative to attack, the man in the blood-red robe laughed sinisterly. Then he pointed at a blood dragon beside him and said sternly, "Kill him." Chapter 707. Roar. The blood dragon roared and pounced toward Su Chen with bared fangs and brandished claws. When the two were only a few meters away, the blood dragon opened its bloody mouth and tried to swallow Su Chen in one gulp. Seeing this, Su Chen's lips curled into a contemptuous smile, and he instantly released his mind power. This blood dragon looked ferocious and terrifying, but its strength was only at level 8. It could not resist Su Chen's mind power at all. Roar! The blood dragon was restrained and could not move. It roared angrily. Su Chen glanced at it coldly, and a faint golden light appeared on his palm. Then, he punched the blood dragon's huge head. There was a loud boom. The blood dragon's entire head was blasted into powder. After a violent tremor, the remaining body collapsed and turned into a cloud of blood mist that drifted down. Seeing Su Chen easily kill a blood dragon, the red-robed man was shocked and furious. The corners of his mouth trembled. You're next. A cold light flashed in Su Chen's eyes. He moved his feet and continued to charge toward the red-robed man. Attack together and kill it. The red-robed man's heart trembled. He gritted his teeth and roared at the other 8 blood dragons. The 8 blood dragons looked at Su Chen together. Then, they bared their teeth and flew toward Su Chen. As their bodies were relatively large, they immediately stirred up the blood waves around them. Facing the joint attack of 8 level 8 blood dragons, Su Chen was still fearless. When they rushed over, a pitch-black battle sword appeared in his hand. After injecting ice magic power into it, he swept the sword out. A terrifying chill spread out and instantly sealed the 8 blood dragons in ice. Although it did not kill them in one blow, it made them lose their ability to move. What a terrifying ice magic! Seeing this scene, the red-robed man's back was drenched in cold sweat. He could not help but take a few steps back. His eyes drifted to the blood-red coffin beneath his feet as if he was hesitating. On the other side, Su Chen took out the integrated 5 Extremes mountain and smashed it at the 8 frozen blood dragons one by one. Bang, bang, bang. Amidst a series of explosions, the 8 blood dragons were smashed into pieces and fell to the ground. Su Chen put away the Yuan 5 Extremes mountain, turned his eyes to the red-robed man, and said mockingly, "What else do you have?" "Brat, don't be so smug." The red-robed man suppressed his fear and roared at Su Chen. Then he looked down at the blood-colored coffin and shouted respectfully, "Master, someone wants to kill your loyal servant. Please save me." Buzz. The blood-red coffin trembled slightly, and a cold voice came from within. "Human, stop here, and I will not pursue this matter. If you continue to be so arrogant, I will take your life." Su Chen stared blankly at the blood-colored coffin and curled his lips. "Who do you think you are? You are just a rat hiding in a coffin." Based on his style of doing things, the red-robed man had to eliminate the source of trouble. As for the person hiding in the coffin, although he did not know what cultivation level he was at, as long as he was on the mainland, he would definitely not exceed level 10. He had never been afraid of anyone below the sage level. How could he be scared off by a threat from the other party? With a click, the moment the lid of the bloody coffin opened, a burly man exuding a corpse aura stood up. A level 10 zombie? Su Chen raised his eyebrows and exclaimed softly. The man who came out of the coffin not only exuded a strong corpse aura, but his aura was also abnormally strong. He gave off the feeling that he was only slightly weaker than the pseudo-saint Wu Yazi. Judging from this, the other party was most likely a level 10 zombie. Chapter 708. Boy, you forced me to do this. Give me your life. The level 10 zombie's eyes were filled with a strong murderous aura. After glancing at Su Chen, his figure moved and suddenly disappeared on the spot. Not good. Suddenly, Su Chen felt a gust of evil wind blowing in his face. He immediately realized that the level 10 zombie was close to him. He was only level 8 now. If he was ambushed by the other party, he would be easily injured. Therefore, without the slightest hesitation, he directly used Atlas shapeshifting. When his figure rose to 30 meters, his spiritual power swept forward like a tide. Under the cover of the spiritual power, the level 10 zombie revealed his true body. However, at this time, he had already appeared in front of Su Chen and raised his hand to punch out. The spiritual force that was blocking the front was like a piece of paper, collapsing one after another. It was too late for Su Chen to dodge. However, he did not panic at all. He used golden scales on the arm and stretched out his palm to block in front of his chest. There was a muffled bang. The level 10 zombie's punch was like a hot knife through butter. It smashed heavily on Su Chen's open palm, but it only made Su Chen shake slightly. How is this possible? Seeing this, the level 10 zombie's eyeballs almost popped out, and he roared in shock. In his opinion, although Su Chen had used the shape-shifting technique and his cultivation had increased by 1 level, there was still a huge gap between him and Su Chen. Originally, he thought that even if this punch could not kill Su Chen, it could at least seriously injure Su Chen. Who would have thought that Su Chen's physical body and strength were so strong to an unimaginable extent? Not to mention hurting Su Chen, his punch didn't even cause a ripple. "You're just SO." While the level 10 zombie was in a trance, a sarcastic voice suddenly sounded in his ears. Before he could react, a sharp pain suddenly came from his hand. It was Su Chen who had grabbed his fist and squeezed it into a ball of meat paste. Ah! The level 10 zombie let out a heart-wrenching scream, shaking the entire auction house. "Noisy!" Su Chen punched out, smashing the level 10 zombie heavily onto the ground. He then raised his leg and kicked the zombie's head. Because the force was too great, half of his head was even stomped into the ground. Not far away, the red-robed man was stunned when he saw this scene. He muttered in a daze, "Why is he so strong?" A level 10 zombie, the strongest zombie below the saint level, was humiliated by a level 9 human being. This made him feel incomparably incredulous. At the same time, the fear in his heart had reached its peak. After regaining his senses, he turned around and ran. However, before he could run a few steps, a short figure suddenly appeared from the side. "Wu Zi is here." Su Chen's heart skipped a beat. He hurriedly opened the soldier recruitment system and bound himself to Wu Zi. Then he shouted, "Senior, kill him." Wu Zi locked onto the red-robed man and punched out. A strong gust of wind blew past, directly blasting the red-robed man into a bloody mist. Seeing the shiny fragments appear, Su Chen's lips curled up slightly. "Su Chen, don't be careless. Xue Ming still has a backup plan." However, at this moment, Wu Zi suddenly reminded him loudly. The level 10 zombie was undoubtedly Xue Ming. Even as a false saint, Wu Zi was somewhat afraid of him. Su Chen did not dare to be careless. He quickly lowered his head and looked down. At this moment, a blue flame suddenly ignited under his feet and spread toward his body. Chapter 709. What surprised Su Chen was that the flame under his feet did not have the slightest sense of heat. Instead, it revealed a penetrating coldness, which was very strange. "Su Chen, get out of the way. That is one of the 10 mystical flames, the bone-chill nether flame," Wu Yazi reminded him again. Su Chen had originally wanted to release an ice spell to compete with it. However, after hearing Wu Yazi's words, he gave up on this idea and quickly retreated. However, even though he wanted to leave, Xue Ming didn't want him to leave so easily. The bone-chill nether flame shot up and chased after Su Chen. "Do you think I'm afraid of you?" Su Chen snorted coldly. As he released his spiritual energy, he raised his hand and slashed out with his saber. A white torrent that exuded a chilling sensation swept toward the bone-chill nether flame. Sizzle! Sizzle! The spiritual energy that collided with the bone-chill nether flame seemed to be frozen and shattered. The white torrent that swept up behind it was easily pierced through. Seeing this, Su Chen's eyelids twitched. However, he did not retreat. When the bone-chill nether flame rushed in front of him, he raised his hand and threw out a small 5-colored mountain. In the blink of an eye, it grew to a size of 100 feet and blocked in front of him. Bang! The bone-chilling nether fire collided with the combined Essence 5 Extremes mountain, producing a dull sound. Then, it enveloped the integrated Primordial 5 Extremes mountain and tried to freeze it. However, the integrated 5 Extremes mountain was a divine weapon. In addition to its terrifying weight, it also had the 5 elements magic power. It was the defense of the 5 elements magic power that blocked the bone-chill nether flame. However, the bone-chill nether flame seemed to have a mind of its own. After realizing that it could not do anything to the integrated 5 Extremes mountain, it charged towards Su Chen again. Don't fight the bone-chill nether flame head-on. Let me take down Xueming first. Seeing that Su Chen's situation was not very optimistic, Wu Yazi reminded him. Suddenly, a huge black net appeared in his hand. He raised it and threw it toward Xueming. Wu Yazi, are you really going to oppose me? Xueming roared angrily. Wu Yazi remained unmoved and continued to control the giant net to close in on Xueming. Damn it! Xueming seemed to be very wary of the giant net. After dodging a few times, he entered the crimson coffin and closed the lid. Wu Yazi frowned when he saw this. The blood-colored coffin was called the 9-Dragon Blood Coffin. It looked ordinary, but it was actually a top-grade defensive divine artifact. With his strength suppressed to level 10, he couldn't break through the 9-Dragon Blood Coffin's defense, so he couldn't do anything to Xueming. Ah, old man, what can you do to me? Hiding in the 9-Dragon Blood Coffin, Xueming laughed wildly. Wu Yazi snorted and controlled the giant net to bind the 9-Dragon Blood Coffin. Although it still couldn't do anything to Xueming, it could temporarily imprison him. Then he rushed toward where Su Chen was. At this moment, Su Chen was really angry under the pressure of the bone-chill nether flame. He took out the Chaos Skysplitter sword and slashed at the bone-chill nether flame, extinguishing half of its flames. Then, he summoned the 4 great spiritual pets and the steel willow at the same time and attacked the bone-chill nether flame together. Even though the bone-chill nether flame was one of the 10 great exotic flames, it was still severely injured and could not fight back against such a powerful lineup. At this moment, it was curled up on the ground and suffering a storm of attacks. It let out a miserable cry. So many high-level spiritual pets. Wu Yazi, who had rushed over, was shocked when he felt the aura of the flaming phoenix and the other spiritual pets. Chapter 710. At this moment, Wu Yazi finally witnessed Su Chen's true strength. He couldn't help but sigh. No wonder he dares to say that no one below the saint level can do anything to him. In addition to his unparalleled strength, he also has the support of so many high-level spirit pets. How many people could withstand such a ferocious attack? Wu Yazi was dazed for a moment. When he regained his senses, he hurriedly shouted at Su Chen, "Su Chen, don't kill it." Everyone stop. Su Chen signaled for all his spirit pets to stop while he stared at the bone-chill nether flame. As long as it moved even a little, it would continue to ravage it. Wu Yazi walked forward and saw that the bone-chill nether flame had shrunk to the size of a fist and its aura was very weak. He secretly clicked his tongue. The bone-chill nether flame was one of the 10 great exotic flames. It was really sad that it had been tortured to such a state. "Senior, what other use does this fellow have?" Su Chen didn't understand why Wu Yazi was stopping him. Wu Yazi smiled. "You should have seen the strength of the bone-chill nether flame. Don't you want to have such a spirit pet?" What did he mean? The bone-chill nether flame was clearly a flame. Could it be tamed like a mutant beast as a spirit pet? Su Chen was a little confused and looked at Wu Yazi in a daze. Wu Yazi didn't let Su Chen wait for long. He explained, "The 10 great exotic flames, no matter which one it is, have spiritual intelligence when they are born. The bone-chill nether flame has already risen to the level of a level 10 exotic flame. It has a high chance of becoming a saint flame and reaching the level of a saint. It's that awesome? Su Chen secretly sighed. Wu Yazi continued, exotic flames have spiritual intelligence. In essence, they can be tamed like mutant beasts. Hearing this, Su Chen fell silent. He had personally experienced the power of the bone-chill nether flame. It could be said that none of the 4 great spirit pets, including the diamond willow, were a match for it. Of course he was tempted by such a powerful existence. However, since the netherworld flame obeyed Xue Ming's orders, wasn't it Xue Ming's spiritual pet? How could he tame it? Even if he forced it to drink the pet potion, it would be impossible to subdue it, right? Thinking of this, Su Chen probed, Senior, the bone-chill nether flame is Xue Ming's spirit pet, right? Can it still be subdued? It is indeed Xue Ming's, but if we kill him, won't it become ownerless? Wu Yazi reminded. Su Chen's eyes immediately lit up. He glanced at the blood coffin and asked, Senior, what is Xue Ming's background? Since Xue Ming was acquainted with Wu Yazi, he was clearly not a nobody. He used to be a saint-level powerhouse of the undead clan. Later, I heard that his time was up and he died. I never thought that this guy would actually become a zombie in order to survive. Wu Yazi explained. Su Chen was enlightened. When their lifespan was approaching, there were indeed people who would choose to become zombies. In the past, Jean Jiashi from the Tianan colony had chosen this path. Although Xue Ming has become a zombie and his power has dropped to levels 10, his coffin is a top-tier defensive sacred artifact. It will be very difficult to break it, Wu Yazi said with a serious expression. Just because it's difficult doesn't mean it's impossible. Let's go and try, Su Chen suggested. Wu Yazi suddenly remembered that Su Chen had a terrifying killing move. Back in the chaotic space, even a pseudo-saint-level powerhouse like him had suffered greatly from this move. If he used this move against the blood coffin, there was a high chance that he could break it open. Chapter 7:11. Okay, let's go and give it a try, Wu Yazi agreed. You guys keep an eye on this guy. If he dares to do anything strange, beat him to death. Su Chen instructed his spiritual pets, then he and Wu Yazi flew to the 9-dragon blood coffin. When Wu Yazi put away the giant black net, Su Chen immediately used the 10,000 lights 10 shadows fighting skill. Immediately, the 11 Su Chens joined forces to attack the 9-dragon blood coffin. This time, even the giant yellow sword was used. Boom! With a loud bang, the 11 attacks landed on the 9-dragon blood coffin at the same time. The 9-dragon blood coffin shook violently, and cracks appeared on the coffin lid like a spider web. Wu Yazi was overjoyed to see this. Although he couldn't break the 9-dragon blood coffin in one hit, he still caused serious damage to it. With a few more hits, he would definitely be able to break it. Stop! At this time, Xue Ming, who was inside the 9-dragon blood coffin, suddenly shouted, Wu Yazi, we have no enmity between us. Are you really going to kill me? In the face of Su Chen's terrifying attack, he was deeply afraid. At the same time, he realized that the 9-dragon blood coffin's defense couldn't withstand more than a few hits. Once the 9-dragon blood coffin was broken, he would have to face Wu Yazi and Su Chen's attacks at the same time. Only death would await him. No enmity between us? Did you forget when you attacked me? Su Chen shouted coldly and was about to attack again. Wait a minute. Xue Ming was anxious and said loudly, I was wrong before. I can make it up to you. What can you give me? Su Chen asked coldly. No matter what Xue Ming gave him, he had to kill him. The reason why he hadn't attacked yet was because the 10,000 lights 10 shadows fighting skill couldn't be used continuously. He needed a buffer time. I still have a large number of energy stones and a few space-breaking stones. I can give them to you, Xue Ming said hurriedly. Space-breaking stones? Su Chen's eyes lit up. He might not care about energy stones, but void-breaking stones were too important. Although the intelligent war chariot only needed 5 pieces to activate the function of traversing between realms, the more space-breaking stones that were installed, the stronger the traversing ability would be. Give me the item first. I want to verify it. Su Chen suppressed his excitement and said faintly, "No, you have to swear an oath to spare my life. Only then will I give it to you." Xue Ming wasn't stupid. If he handed the item over and Su Chen turned hostile, who could he reason with? "You don't know what's good for you." Su Chen rubbed his nose as his eyes gradually turned cold. Since this fellow is so shameless, there's no need to be polite with him. Wu Yazi sneered. He took out a golden hammer from his storage bag and smashed it down at the 9-dragon blood coffin. He had the same idea as Su Chen. He didn't want to let Xue Ming go, so of course, he wouldn't swear such an oath. Clang. The golden hammer landed heavily on the 9-dragon blood coffin, causing the entire coffin to tremble. However, this attack wasn't enough to break through the 9-dragon blood coffin's defense. When Su Chen saw this, he also smashed down with the integrated 5 extremes mountain. Bang bang. Boom boom. For a moment, the entire auction hall was filled with the sound of intense collisions. Su Chen and Wu Yazi smashed more than 100 times together before they finally broke through the 9-dragon blood coffin's defense. The moment the coffin lid shattered, Xue Ming shot up into the sky. Su Chen had been prepared for this, and the spiritual power that permeated the surroundings swarmed up, causing him to fall into a sluggish state. Wu Yazi also threw out a giant black net and trapped Xue Ming inside. Chapter 712. Wu Yazi's black net seemed to have a strong restraining effect on zombies. After Xue Ming was bound, wisps of white smoke rose from his body as he howled in pain. Su Chen did not waste the opportunity and punched Xue Ming's head. Instantly, thousands of fragments emerged from Xue Ming's headless body. Su Chen activated the automatic pickup function and collected all the fragments. Then he found a storage bag on Xue Ming's body. After opening it, he found a large pile of energy stones, ores, spiritual materials, and other items. Su Chen's main target was the space-piercing stone, so he began to search. Soon, he found 5 space-piercing stones, and the corners of his mouth curled up. "Su Chen, what are you going to do with the broken 9-dragon blood coffin?" Wu Yazi asked at this moment. Su Chen glanced at the 9-dragon blood coffin and shook his head. "I have no use for this thing. If Senior likes it, you can keep it." Wu Yazi nodded and put it in the storage bag. Although the 9-dragon blood coffin was damaged, it was still a sacred weapon, and the materials used to refine it were very precious. If he took it back and modified it, he might be able to make a few weapons with good defense. Su Chen and Wu Yazi returned to their original spot and began to deal with the bone-chill nether fire. "Your master is already dead. Why don't you show your true form?" Wu Yazi stared coldly at the bone-chill nether fire and suddenly shouted. Under Wu Yazi's thunderous roar, the bone-chill nether flame trembled violently. Then, it condensed and turned into a palm-sized demonic beast. It had a small nose, small eyes, and a round body. It looked quite cute. However, there was a sharp look in its eyes, as if warning Su Chen and the others not to have any ideas about it. The bone-chill nether fire was already in such a state, but it still dared to show an unruly appearance. Su Chen was a little unhappy. He stepped on it and rubbed it against the ground. Woo woo! The bone-chill nether fire was powerless and did not dare to resist. It wailed in pain. "Su Chen, that's enough." Wu Yazi was worried that Su Chen would accidentally crush the bone-chill nether fire to death, so he reminded him. Su Chen raised his foot and stared at the bone-chill nether fire. He said coldly, "I'll give you a chance to live. Are you willing to submit to me? Will you be my spirit pet?" Under Su Chen's gaze, the bone-chill nether fire hesitated for a moment before nodding. "I'm willing." "It can talk?" Su Chen was stunned for a moment, but he didn't think much about it. He then took out 3 bottles of pet potion and fed them to Little White. After nether fire consumed Yasnather fires to the nether fire 2's eyes. Previously, although it was well behaved, it was mostly afraid of Su Chen. Yazi of Yazi's heart. Even Wu Yazi could feel it. He was shocked by Su Chen. Normally, subduing a spirit pet was a gradual process. For a spirit pet like the bone-chill nether fire, it would take a long time to tame it. However, Su Chen only used 3 bottles of potions to do it. It was amazing. Su Chen played with the bone chill nether fire for a while. He frowned and asked Wu Yazi, "Senior, didn't you say that Xiao Gu is a level 10 mysterious fire? Why do I feel that it's only level 8? There was a difference of 2 levels between level 8 and level 10. The difference in strength was like heaven and earth. Since he had subdued the bone chill nether fire as his spirit pet, he naturally wanted it to be as strong as possible. Chapter 713. Wu Yazi sighed and explained, "You almost killed it with your sword. It's already pretty good that it survived and retained its level 8 strength." Su Chen was stunned for a moment. He was very upset. If he had known that he could tame the bone chill nether fire as a spirit pet, he would not have killed it. It was too late to regret now. Seeing that Su Chen was a little depressed, Wu Yazi smiled and said, "The bone chill nether fire is one of the top 10 mysterious flames. Even if it's level 8, its power is not to be underestimated. Moreover, if you give it more fire attribute ores, it should be able to return to level 10 quickly with its potential. It might even be able to advance to a sacred flame." Su Chen nodded and felt much better. Then he put all his spirit pets into the pet rearing space and left the auction house with Wu Yazi. After Xue Ming was killed, the bloody aura that shrouded the auction house gradually dissipated. The people in the auction house also woke up. He did not want to stay here and attract attention. After leaving the auction house, Su Chen quickly took out the intelligent war chariot. After getting on, he immediately opened the chaos space and called Qin Feng and the others out. After all, the chaos space was not complete. Su Chen was a little worried that there would be problems if they stayed here for too long. Seeing that everyone was unharmed, he was relieved. "Junior brother Su, what happened at the auction?" Qin Feng asked. Su Chen did not hide anything and gave a simple explanation of what happened at the auction. Hearing this, everyone was still in shock. They could imagine that if Su Chen was not by their side, they would have died at the auction today. "Su Chen, I've prepared all the materials to repair the chaos space. I plan to complete it completely." After everyone calmed down, Wu Yazi said, "Then I'll have to trouble you, senior." Su Chen nodded and opened the chaos space, sending Wu Yazi in. After a while, he looked at the central control screen. After thinking for a while, he ordered the intelligent war chariot, Satoshi, search for the Sun Moon Star Palace on Carefree Mountain. Head there immediately. The Carefree Mountain selection would be held in 20 days. He had to get there as soon as possible. The intelligent war chariot locked onto the Sun Moon Star Palace and sped forward. Later, Su Chen installed the remaining space-breaking stones on the intelligent war chariot and talked to it. "Satoshi, with your current shuttle ability, can you enter the land of the undead?" After all, there was still a year before the mysterious Heavenly Mainland Challenge would be held after the forgotten Autumn Mountain selection. He could not afford to waste such a long period of time. He could enter the undead continent and obtain a level 9 energy stone. "Master, with my current form, it's more difficult for me to enter a large realm like the undead race. I'll only have absolute confidence when I reach level 8, the intelligent war chariot said truthfully. Intelligent war chariot was currently at level 7. Upgrading it to level 8 would require level 8 energy ores or energy ores. Su Chen didn't have a single piece on him. After thinking for a moment, he asked Qin Feng, "Senior brother Chen, do you know where I can find level 8 energy stones? We have them in the Sun Moon Star Palace, but there aren't many of them. Other than that, the other major forces in Forgotten Autumn Mountain would more or less have some," Qin Feng said. Su Chen nodded slightly and started talking to the intelligent war chariot. "Satoshi, how many level 8 energy ores do I need to upgrade to level 8? 20 pieces, the intelligent war chariot replied immediately. Chapter 714. 20? Su Chen clicked his tongue. Thinking back to when he was in the Imperial Beast continent, he spent a lot of effort to get 3 level 8 energy stones. It was obvious how difficult it was to get level 8 energy stones. But no matter how difficult it It was imperative for the intelligent war chariot to advance to level 8. Whether it was exchanging or robbing, he had to get all the level 8 energy stones from the 7 forces in the Forgotten Worries Mountain. Behind him, the intelligent war chariot sped along without any obstacles. During this time, Wu Yazi had finished repairing the chaos space. Chen Feng and the others had also reforged their weapons. Just as they entered the Forgotten Autumn Mountain area, the intelligent war chariot suddenly warned, "Master, there are more than 10 humans hiding on both sides of the mountain road ahead." The Forgotten Autumn Mountain itself was a vast and endless mountain range, and the 7 major forces were all located within it. There was only one way to enter the Forgotten Autumn Mountain and reach the Sun Moon Star Palace. And there were humans hiding on this road. Their purpose was obvious. They were obviously plotting something against them. Su Chen had offended too many forces, so he could not guess who was after him. He ordered the intelligent war chariot, Satoshi, lock onto them and enlarge the image. The intelligent war chariot locked onto them and transmitted a clear image to the central control screen. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and looked around. He saw more than 10 unfamiliar men gathered together and whispered something. "Senior Brother Chen, do you know them?" Su Chen asked. Since they appeared in the Forgotten Autumn Mountain area, he guessed that the ambushers were most likely from the 7 forces in the Forgotten Autumn Mountain. As a member of the Sun Moon Star Palace, Chen Feng should know them. Unexpectedly, Chen Feng looked at them for a while and shook his head. "I don't know them." This answer was out of Su Chen's expectations. So he asked Ling Mai and Xia Jingyi for advice. The answer he got was also unclear. Could they be from other forces? Su Chen guessed. After all, the Wenxi dynasty, the Holy Empire, and the barbarian Divine Temple were not on good terms with him. They might have sent people to ambush him. After pondering for a moment, Su Chen asked the intelligent war chariot, "Satoshi, what are their cultivations?" "There is a level 8 evolver, and the rest are level 7 evolvers," the intelligent chariot immediately replied. Su Chen frowned slightly. The other party's cultivation was too low, causing him to wonder if the other party was targeting him. Because with the strength he had displayed, if they wanted to kill him, they should at least eliminate those above level 9, right? Sending some level 7 and level 8 players over, wouldn't that be sending them to their deaths? Am I overthinking things? Su Chen shook his head and ordered, "Satoshi, continue forward." No matter what the other party's intentions were, they would know once they went over to investigate. The intelligent war chariot received the order and slowly moved forward. When it reached the ambush location, the dozen people stood on the road and blocked the intelligent war chariot's path. "Are you really here to cause trouble?" Su Chen was extremely surprised. He really didn't understand why the other party dared to stand out so brazenly with just these few pieces of material. Could it be that they were bandits from other places who didn't know his identity and wanted to rob him? However, Su Chen quickly denied this point. Level 7 and level 8 evolvers were strong no matter which force they were in. How could they fall to the point of robbing others? Not knowing what was going on, Su Chen simply opened the door and got out of the car. Chapter 7:15. When he was 10 meters away from these men, Su Chen stopped, squinted his eyes, and said, "What are you planning to do?" One of the skinny men with a long scar on his face looked at Su Chen and grinned. "You are Su Chen, right?" "That's right, I'm Su Chen. Tell me your purpose." Su Chen rubbed his nose and said naturally. Since the other party knew his name, it was obvious that they were targeting him. However, with this little strength, wasn't it suicide? "There is only one purpose, to kill you." The scarred man squinted his eyes, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. As soon as he said that, not only was Su Chen stunned, but even the people in the intelligent chariot were dumbfounded. What kind of person was Su Chen? He was the unparalleled god of death. He had always been the one killing others. Who could kill him? The scarred man was only a level 8 evolver. Who gave him the courage to say such words? Is there something wrong with this guy's brain? Yang Hao could not help but curse. Chao Ran and the others agreed. Either his brain is damaged, or he has never seen the world. He doesn't know how powerful Chenggu is. Can you tell me your history? Su Chen was not angry and said calmly. From the scarred man's face, he saw that the other party was calm and confident, as if he was absolutely sure that he could kill him. This aroused his great interest. The person who is about to die has no need to know so much. The scarred man sneered. In that case, I can only make my move. Su Chen snorted, moved his feet, and rushed toward the scarred man. However, for some reason, he suddenly stopped after taking a few steps. What's going on? Su Chen frowned and looked at his feet, muttering. Just now, he had activated the speed enhancement function of the rapid war boots, but his feet did not shine with a purple light and his speed did not increase. This was the first time such a situation had happened. Su Chen's heart skipped a beat. He tried to activate the rapid war boots again, but it still failed. It was as if there was some kind of power that cut off the connection between him and the rapid war boots. Are you surprised? The scarred man laughed proudly and slowly walked toward Su Chen. As he walked, he said, I knew you were a full-time cultivator. How could I kill you without some tricks? Su Chen, we should be trapped in the Heaven Confusion spiritual lock formation. But at this time, Wu Yazi and Leng Mai ran to Su Chen's side. Because the others were too weak, they did not rush over together. Old man, you know quite a lot? Seeing that Wu Yazi had exposed the secret, the scarred man's face turned gloomy. Wu Yazi ignored him and explained to Su Chen, being trapped in the Heaven Confusion spiritual lock formation, other than being able to exert the strength of an evolver, other professions, including sacred weapons, cannot be used. Hearing this, Su Chen came to a realization. At this moment he finally understood why the other party dared to ambush him despite knowing his identity. It turned out that they were relying on the Heaven Confusion spiritual lock formation. However, the other party obviously did not expect that among his three professions, an evolver was the strongest. Not to mention other things, just the fact that he had the ancient god-fiend body made him an existence that could not be killed. Moreover, Wu Yazi was also an evolver. Even if his cultivation was suppressed, he was still a level 10 evolver. Killing a group of evolvers below level 8 was as easy as crushing an ant. Chapter 716. Senior, take down this scar-faced man and leave the rest to me, Su Chen said. Since he had figured out the reason, there was no need to waste any more time. I can't wait any longer. Wu Yazi chuckled. With a move of his feet, he pushed the speed of a level 10 evolver to the extreme and appeared in front of the scar-faced man like a stream of light. Level 10. Feeling the terrifying pressure from Wu Yazi, the scar-faced man was so scared that he almost peed his pants. He did not even have the chance to resist before he was slapped to the ground by Wu Yazi. Half of his bones were shattered. Hiss! Seeing this scene, everyone except Su Chen sucked in a breath of cold air. Master Wu Yazi is actually so strong. Chen Feng muttered involuntarily. At first, they only knew that Wu Yazi was a blacksmith master, but they did not know his strength. Now that they saw Wu Yazi burst out with level 10 strength, they were all inexplicably shocked. On the other side, Su Chen took advantage of the other party's shock to rush forward and mercilessly slaughter the level 7 evolvers. Accompanied by more than 10 screams, the level 7 evolvers were all killed. Su Chen slowly walked to the scar-faced man and reached out to grab his neck, intending to drag him into the car. However, at this moment, Wu Yazi signaled Su Chen to calm down. Senior, is there anything else? Su Chen threw the scar-faced man to the ground. Wu Yazi nodded slightly, then looked at the scar-faced man and asked in a deep voice, Where did you install the forbidden stone? Old man, do you know who I am? Let me go as soon as possible, or else. At this time, the scar-faced man was not afraid. Instead, he bared his teeth and threatened him. Su Chen would not let him have his way. He stepped on the scar-faced man's face and stomped half of his head into the soil. Then, he looked at Wu Yazi and asked, Senior, what is the forbidden stone? The forbidden stone is a kind of or that forbids spiritual power and divine sense. There are very few of them in the world. Its value is several grades higher than the void-breaking stone. The reason why the heaven disorientating spirit lock formation can be activated is entirely due to the power of the forbidden breaking stone, Wu Yazi slowly explained. According to Wu Yazi, the forbidden stone was definitely a treasure among treasures. Su Chen's heart skipped a beat. He turned to communicate with the intelligent war chariot. Satoshi, is the forbidden stone useful to you? The intelligent war chariot immediately replied, Master, if you install it for me, I can open up a space similar to the spirit lock formation, but the range is much smaller, only 100 square meters. Su Chen's heart skipped a beat. Imagine, if he encountered a powerful spirit reader or magic reader, he could catch them off guard and cut off their magical power and spiritual power. Wouldn't he be able to kill them at will? Wu Yazi seemed to have seen through Su Chen's thoughts and reminded him, Su Chen, the spirit lock formation has an absolute effect on those below the sage level. However, when you reach the sage level, it is not so obvious. Su Chen was not too disappointed. The strength of a sage-level existence was unparalleled. Even if it had a slight effect on them, it was not easy. After a while, he calmed down and asked the scar-faced man coldly, Tell me where the forbidden stone is? It can save me from physical pain. The scar-faced man sneered, as if he did not hear Su Chen's words. Seeing this, Su Chen rubbed his nose and turned to Chao Ran and shouted, Chao Ran, this guy doesn't know what's good for him. Come and teach him a lesson. Coming, Shingu. Chao Ran got out of the car and ran excitedly to Su Chen's side. Chapter 717. Shingu, are we still going to follow the old rules? Before making a move, Chao Ran asked for instructions as usual. Su Chen nodded. Same old rules. Cut him into 1,000 pieces. Cutting him into 1,000 pieces was the best way to destroy a person's willpower. Even a level 9 expert like the Saint Lord of the Southern region could not withstand it. The scar-faced man was like a rock in a latrine pit, smelly and hard. It would be difficult to pry open his mouth unless he was ruthless. Got it, Shingu. Chao Ran licked his lips, took out the nether dagger, and walked forward. What do you want? Seeing Chao Ran walk over with a sinister smile, the scar-faced man's heart trembled. He kept moving backward. However, half of his body had already been crippled by Wu Yazi. How could he move? The more you struggle, the more excited I am. Chao Ran said mockingly. He grabbed the scar-faced man's arm and started cutting. The scar-faced man tried to break free, but Su Chen stepped on him and he lost all strength to resist. Chao Ran raised the dagger and cut off a piece of bloody flesh. Ah! The scar-faced man screamed like a pig being slaughtered. His face was distorted. What a F*** piece of trash. Chao Ran spat. The scar-faced man was a level 8 evolver. He could not even withstand such pain. It was a disgrace. Chao Ran, ignore him. Continue, Su Chen reminded him. Wu Yazi, who was at the side, clicked his tongue. It was the first time he had seen Su Chen's ruthless side. Chao Ran didn't waste any more time. He continued to slash, and pieces of flesh fell off the scar-faced man's arm. In the blink of an eye, more than a dozen pieces had been cut off. The scar-faced man's arm became a bloody mess. He screamed even louder. Just as Chao Ran was about to stab the scar-faced man's arm again, the scar-faced man shouted, Stop! I'll tell you everything. So simple? Su Chen rubbed his nose and signaled to Chao Ran not to make a move for the time being. Then he stared at the scarred man and said coldly, Where is the forbidden stone? In the bushes 10 meters behind you, the scarred man quickly replied. Su Chen turned around and looked back. Sure enough, he saw a lush bush not far away. Junior brother Su, I'll go and take a look. Lung Mai called out and trotted over. After a while, he came back with a fist-sized black stone and handed it to Su Chen. Senior, is this the forbidden stone? Su Chen didn't recognize the forbidden stone and asked Wu Yazi about it. That's right, the forbidden stone is indeed broken. Wu Yazi said with certainty after sizing him up. Su Chen was overjoyed and asked, Senior, since the Forbidden Stone is in my hands, the heaven-confounding spirit lock formation should have lost its effect, right? It should be. Wu Yazi nodded and replied with uncertainty. Su Chen tried to open the storage bag and easily opened it. This also meant that without the Forbidden Stone, the heaven-confounding spirit lock formation only existed in name. After a while, Su Chen put the Forbidden Stone into the storage bag and turned to look at the scarred man again. He asked indifferently, "Tell me about your background." He didn't know the scarred man and had no enmity with him. However, the scarred man set up the heaven-confounding spirit lock formation to kill him. It was very likely that he was instructed by someone else. He had to find out who was behind this. The scarred man was much calmer at this time. After thinking for a while, he said straightforwardly, "I'm from the sanctuary." Sanctuary? Hearing that the scarred man came to the sanctuary, Wu Yazi and Lung Mai's faces changed. Su Chen also frowned slightly. The sanctuary was the place where the human race's saint-level powerhouses gathered. If the scarred man really came from the sanctuary, it was very likely that a saint-level powerhouse was behind this. Chapter 7:18. Su Chen felt that this possibility was very high because among the many forces he had offended, the Wenshi dynasty, the Assassin Alliance, and the Ouyang family were all backed by Sage Stage experts. Although the Sage Stage ancestor couldn't easily enter the continent, it was very easy for him to arrange for some experts to kill him with his own influence. What he didn't know now was which Sage Stage expert was behind this, or was it arranged by many forces? "Who ordered you to kill me?" Su Chen asked coldly. "Once I say it, I will never be able to return to the sacred region. They won't let me go, so you have to protect me." The scarred man actually talked about conditions with Su Chen. "You want to talk about conditions with me? You obviously haven't understood your position yet." Su Chen sighed and then winked at Chao Ran. Chao Ran understood tacitly. He moved his knife again and quickly cut the scar-faced man's flesh. "Let me go. I'll say it, I'll tell you everything." The scarred man didn't persist for long and began to beg for mercy loudly. "If you were so tactful earlier, you wouldn't have to suffer physical pain. Tell me, who ordered you?" Su Chen sneered. "It's the Feng family's ancestor, Feng Hexiang." After the scarred man finished speaking, he was like a deflated balloon. He knew very well that his fate was over when Su Chen learned about this matter. However, he seemed to be very unwilling and gritted his teeth and said, "I'm a guard captain of the sacred region. Once you kill me, those Sage Stage experts won't let you go. I've already killed so many of your people, you're the only one left." The corner of Su Chen's mouth twitched slightly, and then he blasted the scarred man's head with a punch. No one in this world could threaten him, not even a Sage Stage expert. After killing the scarred man, Su Chen narrowed his eyes and murmured, "Feng Hexiang, I'll kill you sooner or later." The Sage Stage expert was indeed powerful, and he couldn't do anything to him for the time being. However, when he advanced to the false saint realm, he had absolute confidence. With the way he was advancing, it was only a matter of time before he advanced to the false saint stage or the saint stage. Later, he destroyed the corpses of the scar-faced man and the others and returned to the intelligent war chariot with Wu Yazi. Satoshi, continue to the Sun Moon Star Palace. Su Chen instructed, then turned to Wu Yazi and asked, "Senior, can you use the Forbidden Stone to forge a weapon?" Installing the Forbidden Stone on the intelligent war chariot could activate the power of the Forbidden Stone. However, considering that the opponents they would encounter in the future would only become stronger and stronger, the intelligent war chariot would be easily damaged if it was exposed. If he could create a weapon with the power to break, it would be much more convenient, and there would be no more worries. Creating a brand new weapon is too difficult. However, I can fuse the Forbidden Breaking Stone into a high-quality weapon, and it will also have the power of forbidden breaking. Wu Yazi thought for a moment and said slowly. Hearing this, Su Chen's eyes lit up. "How about that huge yellow sword?" The huge yellow sword was a sage artifact. As it was a weapon used by the Sacred Lord of the North region, he didn't like to use it. If he could modify it, it wouldn't be a problem to use it occasionally. Fusing it into a sage artifact will make it more effective. There's no problem, Wu Yazi said affirmatively. Su Chen didn't hesitate and handed the forbidden breaking stone and the huge yellow sword to Wu Yazi. Then I'll have to trouble you, senior. Don't worry, it should be completed soon. Wu Yazi promised and entered the chaos space. Chapter 719. The Sun Moon Star Palace was built on a towering mountain. It was surrounded by mist and looked like a fairyland. The intelligent war chariot finally arrived after traveling for 3 days. Outside the mountain gate, Gu Tianhua and Lin Huayin had been waiting for a long time. When the intelligent war chariot appeared, the two of them greeted it excitedly. Su Chen and the others got off the car. As the roads in the Sun Moon Star Palace were rugged and not suitable for the MCV to travel, Su Chen put the intelligent war chariot into his storage bag. Junior brother Su, the sect master wants to meet you alone. Coming to Su Chen's side, Gu Tianhua whispered. Su Chen was slightly stunned. He had just arrived at the Sun Moon Star Palace and had not even settled down. Why was the sect master so impatient? Gu Tianhua also felt that it was inappropriate. He smiled awkwardly and explained, the sect master has something urgent to discuss with you. Su Chen rubbed his nose and said calmly, then I'll go and take a look first. After that, Su Chen and Gu Tianhua left alone. The others entered the Sun Moon Star Palace under Lin Huayin's guidance. Senior brother Gu, why is the sect master looking for me in such a hurry? On the way, Su Chen could not help but ask. I'm not sure about the specifics. Maybe it has something to do with the Forgotten Autumn Mountain preliminaries, Gu Tianhua explained. Su Chen thought for a while and felt that it was possible. The Forgotten Autumn Mountain preliminaries were very important. He had boasted that he would take all the spots. The sect master of the Sun Moon Star Palace was most likely here because of this. Half an hour later, the two of them appeared in front of a quaint palace door and stopped. Junior brother Su, this is the place. The sect master has been waiting inside for a long time. You should go in quickly, Gu Tianhua reminded him. Su Chen nodded slightly and strolled into the palace. Gu Tianhua did not follow him in. He stood outside silently and waited. What surprised Su Chen was that there was only one person in the palace. Moreover, it was a woman who looked to be in her 30s. She was beautiful and had an otherworldly temperament. Su Chen was stunned. Before he came, he had learned that the sect master of the Sun Moon Star Palace was a level 10 cultivator. However, the woman in front of him was only 30 years old. How could she cultivate to level 10 at this age? Wasn't her talent a little too terrifying? Of course, there was another possibility. The sect master of the Sun Moon Star Palace was a sect master. You are Su Chen, right? The woman looked at Su Chen and asked softly. I'm Su Chen. Su Chen nodded and asked, Senior is the sect master of the Sun Moon Star Palace? My name is Shang Tsili. I am indeed the current sect master of Sun Moon Star Palace. The woman smiled sweetly, giving people a feeling like a spring breeze. Su Chen clicked his tongue. He did not expect the other party to really be the sect master. Moreover, she was such a young level 10 cultivator. As if she could see the doubts in Su Chen's heart, Shang Tsili explained, I'm already over 100 years old. It's just that when I was young, I took a fruit that could preserve my appearance forever. That's why I look like I'm 30 years old. You don't have to think too much about it. Su Chen came to a realization and asked, Sect Master, why did you call me here? Is there an urgent matter? Su Chen, I heard that you're only 17 years old this year. You're already a level 7 cultivator? Moreover, you're a full-time cultivator? Shang Tsili looked at Su Chen in a daze and asked in a deep voice. When Gu Tianhua had told her about Su Chen's situation, she had felt that it was inconceivable. Even when she saw Su Chen in person, she was still unwilling to believe it. A level 7 cultivator at the age of 17, and a full-time one at that. Anyone would think that it was a fantasy. Chapter 720. Yes. Su Chen nodded. He was now a full-time level 8 cultivator. In order to avoid causing too much commotion, he didn't say it explicitly. Hiss. After getting Su Chen's personal acknowledgement, Shang Tsili took a deep breath. After calming down a little, she continued to ask, I also heard that you plan to snatch all the spots for the Forgotten Autumn Mountain qualifiers this time? Su Chen said without hesitation, it's very easy for me to snatch all the spots. Seeing Su Chen's confident look, Shang Tsili swallowed her saliva and said in a low voice, do you know that those who are participating in the qualifiers are the top experts of the 7 major forces? There's even a level 9 one among them. Are you that confident? What if they join forces to deal with you? Su Chen smiled and said indifferently, no one below level 10, including level 10, is my match. When he was level 7, he might be a little humble. But when he reached level 8 and used Atlas Polymorph, his cultivation would soar to level 9. Level 10 experts were no longer in his eyes. Shang Tsili opened her mouth slightly and looked at Su Chen in a daze. Her expression was blank. Su Chen was only level 7. Who gave him the courage to say such words? If he said that he was invincible among those of the same level, Shang Tsili could accept it. The key was that Su Chen said that he included everyone below level 10. Didn't that mean that she, the sect master of Sun Moon Star Palace, was included as well? Are you really that confident? Shang Tsili came back to her senses and probed. Sect master, if you don't believe me, you can find someone to exchange a few blows with me. No matter how many people there are, no matter what their cultivation is, I will take them all on myself, Su said with a serious expression. Since he planned to join Sun Moon Star Palace, he had to display enough strength to be valued. Only then could he obtain a relatively high position in Sun Moon Star Palace. Shang Tsili clicked her tongue and was once again stunned by Su Chen's words. She was now a little confused. Was Su Chen saying this because of his strength? Or was he just bragging? After pondering for a long time, he asked, Su Chen, why do you want to join the Sun Moon Star Palace? The Sun Moon Star Palace was not the only powerful force in the mysterious heavenly mainland. There were many forces that were even more powerful than the Sun Moon Star Palace. With Su Chen's talent and strength, no matter which force he chose, he would be greatly welcomed. Then why did he choose the Sun Moon Star Palace? The reason why Su Chen chose the Sun Moon Star Palace was actually very simple. It was to obtain a slot to enter the Void Battleground. This was because only by joining a powerful force would one be able to obtain the opportunity to be selected. Secondly, he had gone through thick and thin with Chen Feng and the others, so they got along quite well with each other. Choosing the Sun Moon Star Palace was a matter of course. Thus, Su Chen spoke of these two aspects. So it's to enter the void battlefield. Shang Tsili muttered to herself. There was a chance of awakening special abilities after entering the void battleground. Geniuses like Su Chen naturally flocked to it. Since Su Chen could say this without reservation, Shang Tsili actually believed him a little. Then, she said solemnly, I agree to let you join the Sun Moon Star Palace. Thank you, Sect Master. Su Chen cupped his hands and bowed. Shang Tsili nodded slightly and continued, the Forgotten Autumn Mountain selection is of great importance. I still want to test your strength. I hope you don't mind. What you hear may be false, but seeing is believing. Only by personally witnessing Su Chen's strength would she be able to feel at ease. Of course. Su Chen smiled. All right, follow me. Shang Tsili called out and walked straight out of the hall. Su Chen rubbed his nose and followed closely behind. Chapter 721. Sect Master. Seeing Shang Tsili walk out of the hall, Gu Tianhua hurriedly greeted her. Shang Tsili nodded slightly. Tianhua, come with us. Gu Tianhua responded respectfully. Then, he came to Su Chen's side and whispered, Junior brother Su, where is Sect Master taking us? Su Chen shook his head. Shang Tsili only said to follow him and didn't say where they were going, so he didn't know. 10 minutes later, the three of them entered a valley. This valley didn't have a name, but it was very famous in the Sun Moon Star Palace. The reason was that a level 10 expert lived here, Nan Lichuan. There were a total of 2 leveled 10 experts in the Sun Moon Star Palace. Besides Shang Caili, it was Nan Lichuan. There were rumors that Nan Lichuan's strength was above Shang Caili's, and he was known as the number 1 expert in the Sun Moon Star Palace. What is Sect Master doing here? Gu Tianhua muttered with a frown. Su Chen roughly guessed Shang Caili's purpose. Previously, he said that no one below levels 10 was a match for him. Shang Caili definitely didn't believe him, so she wanted to let the number 1 expert of the Sun Moon Star Palace test him. Senior brother Nan. As soon as they entered the valley, Shang Caili called out to a wooden loft in the valley. Soon, a sloppy old man in a gray robe walked out of the loft. When he came closer, he squinted his eyes and said softly, "Junior sister Shang, what's the matter?" Shang Caili pointed at Su Chen and introduced, "Senior brother Nan. His name is Su Chen. He's a new disciple of the Sun Moon Star Palace." Nan Linchuan was a little confused. He looked at Shang Caili in a daze and thought to himself, "The Sun Moon Star Palace doesn't have to come to me to introduce a new disciple, right? Could it be that she wants me to accept a disciple?" Shang Caili knew that Nan Linchuan had misunderstood. She smiled and explained, "Senior brother Nan, I only have one purpose here. I want you to spar with Su Chen." What? Nan Lichuan's expression froze. He even wondered if Shang Caili was here to make fun of him. Asking him to spar with a junior? Wasn't Gu Tianhua beside him? Wouldn't it be more appropriate to let Gu Tianhua and Su Chen spar? Gu Tianhua was also dumbfounded. From beginning to end, he had never thought that Shang Caili would have such an idea. He couldn't help but worry about Su Chen. Although Su Chen was strong, he was only at level 7. How could he be a match for Nan Lichuan, who was at level 10? Could it be that he wanted to give Su Chen a show of strength? Gu Tianhua began to guess. Nan Lichuan pulled Shang Caili to the side and whispered, "Junior sister, did that kid offend you before? You want to borrow my hand to teach him a lesson?" "Senior brother, you worry too much." Shang Caili shook her head and explained, "I really want you to compare notes with Su Chen. There's no other meaning." Nan Lichuan frowned when he heard that. He shouldn't be 20 years old, right? What's his cultivation base? He is indeed less than 20 years old, but he is a level 7 full-time practitioner. Shang Caili said in a deep voice. This? Nan Lichuan took in a deep breath. A level 7 full-time practitioner who was less than 20 years old. This kind of talent was rare in the world. Even those sage-level masters didn't have this kind of achievement at this age. However, he still couldn't figure it out. Even a level 7 full-time practitioner wouldn't be a match for a level 10 practitioner. Shang Caili should be very clear about this point. Then why did she still insist on having Su Chen spar with him? Although Su Chen is only at level 7, he has a transformation technique that can instantly raise his cultivation base by 1 level. At this point, Shang Caili paused slightly and then said meaningfully, "There's another point. Su Chen said that no one below level 10 is his opponent." Chapter 722. He's really arrogant. Nan Lichuan clicked his tongue and couldn't help but swallow his saliva. If Shang Caili hadn't told him personally, he wouldn't have believed that a level 7 cultivator would dare to say such big words. "Senior brother Nan, are you interested in sparring with Su Chen now?" Shang Caili probed. Nan Lichuan was also a proud person when he was young. He often challenged people who were stronger than him. Strictly speaking, Nan Lichuan and Su Chen were the same kind of people. Would Nan Lichuan back down when facing someone who was more arrogant than him? With Shang Caili's understanding of Nan Lichuan would definitely agree to sparring with Su Chen. Sparring is fine. Nan Lichuan pondered for a moment and asked, "But aren't you also level 10? Why don't you spar with him?" Shang Caili seemed to be prepared and explained, "As the sect master of the Sun Moon Star Palace, if I lose to a disciple, would the Sun Moon Star Palace still have face?" Nan Lichuan didn't like this kind of explanation. If Shang Caili lost, the Sun Moon Star Palace would lose face, but if he lost, he wouldn't lose face? However, he soon felt relieved. Compared to others, Su Chen had already aroused his strong interest. All right, as long as that kid dares to agree, I'll play with him, Nan Linchuan said casually. Obviously, he didn't take Su Chen seriously. Seeing that Nan Lichuan agreed, Shang Caili was delighted. She turned to Su Chen and said, Su Chen, are you willing to spar with senior brother Nan? Sure. Su Chen nodded. Shang Caili's purpose was to see his strength. If he didn't agree, it would definitely arouse Shang Caili's suspicion. Moreover, level 10 cultivators were rare. He also wanted to take the opportunity to sharpen himself. Gu Tianhua originally wanted to persuade him, but Su Chen agreed too quickly. He could only sigh faintly. Very good. Shang Caili whispered and then reminded, Senior brother Nan is a level 10 cultivator, but don't worry, he will hold back and won't hurt you. On the surface, she was reminding Su Chen, but in reality, she was telling Nan Lichuan to be careful. It would be bad if he accidentally hurt Su Chen. Unexpectedly, as soon as Shang Caili finished speaking, Su Chen said indifferently, Senior Nan, please do your best because once I make a move, I'm afraid I won't be able to handle it. There was a deeper meaning behind what he said. It was as if he was trying to say that if Nan Lichuan didn't give it his all, he might get hurt. Hearing this, Shang Caili and the others were stunned. They stared blankly at Su Chen, their hearts extremely complicated. They had seen many arrogant people, but they had never heard of someone like Su Chen. Even if your talent is extraordinary and your strength far surpasses your peers, you shouldn't boast so shamelessly, right? After all, you're only level 7 while Nan Lichuan is level 10. There's a difference of 3 levels. Would it kill you to keep a low profile? What they didn't know was that Su Chen wasn't boasting this time. He was thinking that if both of them held back during a fight, what would be the point? How would he train himself then? Therefore, it could be considered as a way to stimulate Nan Lichuan's fighting spirit. All right, then I'll do as you wish. After being provoked by Su Chen's words, a hint of anger appeared on Nan Lichuan's face. As the number 1 expert of the Sun Moon Star Palace, he was being looked down upon by a level 7 junior. If he didn't teach Su Chen a lesson, where would he put his face? Tianhua, let's step aside first. Seeing that it was about time, Shang Caili reminded Gu Tianhua. Yes. Gu Tianhua reacted and slowly stepped back. When Su Chen and Nan Lichuan were the only ones left on the scene, 2 powerful auras were emitted from their bodies. Chapter 723. He's a level 8 cultivator? Sensing that Su Chen's aura had reached level 8, Shang Caili was shocked. Gu Tianhua's heart was in turmoil. He clearly remembered that a few days ago, Su Chen was only level 7. He could only reach level 8 through the transformation technique. How did he become a level 8 cultivator in just a few days? Could it be that Su Chen had another breakthrough in his cultivation in just a few days? It was terrifying to think about. This speed of cultivation was unheard of. Nan Lichuan was stunned for a second, then he laughed out loud. So, you've been hiding your true strength. No wonder you dare to challenge me. Then go ahead and unleash your full strength. Let this old man witness your true strength. Nan Lichuan's fighting spirit was ignited. It was as if he had returned to his younger days, filled with energy. Su Chen didn't underestimate his opponent. Instead, he used the Atlas shape-shifting spell. When his body was 10 feet tall, purple light surrounded his feet. Then he moved his feet and dashed towards Nan Lichuan like a bolt of lightning. So fast! Nan Lichuan's eyelids twitched. Although Su Chen was only level 9 after the transformation, his speed had surpassed a level 10 cultivator. This made Nan Lichuan stop underestimating him. Just as Su Chen was about to reach him, Nan Lichuan threw out a punch. However, as soon as he threw out the punch, an invisible force came from all directions. The force was so strong that it made him feel like he was sinking into the mud. Level 10 spiritual power. Nan Lichuan was shocked. Su Chen was a full-time cultivator, so it wasn't surprising that he had spiritual power. However, what he didn't expect was that Su Chen's spiritual power was much stronger than other cultivators of the same level. It was comparable to level 10. If he was trapped by this spiritual power, he would definitely be in a passive position. This was something that he didn't want to see. You want to trap me? You're too naive. Nan Lichuan gritted his teeth. Suddenly, a purple light shot out from his eyes and circled around his body, cutting the spiritual power around him into pieces. The spectral eye divine light truly lives up to its reputation. Shang Tsili sighed with emotion. The spectral eye divine light was a special ability that Nan Lichuan had awakened when he entered the void battleground. It was reasonable that he could easily defeat Su Chen's mind power. However, Shang Tsili didn't expect that Nan Lichuan would be forced to use his trump card by Su Chen as soon as they started fighting. From this, it could be seen that Su Chen definitely lived up to his reputation. Perhaps he really did have the ability to defeat a level 10 powerhouse. On the other side, Nan Lichuan had just been freed from the restraints when he saw a golden light in front of him. Before he could even see clearly what it was, he suddenly heard the shrill sound of a fist. Secret fist technique. When he realized that Su Chen was using a fist technique, Nan Lichuan quickly took out a wooden shield from his storage bag and placed it in front of him. Bang bang bang, after a series of clashing sounds, there was a dent on Nan Lichuan's wooden shield. From time to time, there would be wood shavings flying out. On the other hand, Nan Lichuan was also being pushed back by the huge impact. When Su Chen's Pegasus Meteor Punch landed, Nan Lichuan had already been pushed back dozens of steps unknowingly. Although he wasn't severely injured, it was inevitable that he would embarrass himself. Junior brother Su is so strong? Gu Tianhua was shocked when he saw Nan Lichuan being suppressed by Su Chen to the point that he couldn't even fight back. Even senior brother Nan isn't a match for him? Shang Tsili murmured in a daze. She looked a little dazed. Nan Lichuan, who was known as the #1 powerhouse in the Sun Moonstar Palace, was actually suppressed by Su Chen from the beginning until the end. She couldn't believe it. Chapter 724. Nan Lichuan was so frustrated that he almost vomited blood. As a level 10 master, he was being suppressed by a junior. It was so embarrassing. Finally, Su Chen was done with all his moves. Just as Nan Lichuan was about to fight back, the temperature around him suddenly dropped. Suddenly he realized that the temperature around him had plummeted, giving him the feeling that he had entered a glacial snowfield. An ice element spell. When Nan Lichuan finally realized what was happening, he saw a white current rushing towards him. The wave of the ice element spell made his heart skip a beat. An ice element spell that was beyond level 10? How was this possible? Nan Lichuan was shocked. He couldn't understand why Su Chen could cast such a powerful spell when he was only level 9. However, he didn't have time to think about it because the white current was already in front of him. At this critical moment, Nan Lichuan unleashed his spectral eye divine light once again. Just as he was about to break the white flood, suddenly a scorching hot fireball shot towards him. What the F***CK? Nan Lichuan was so angry that he almost cursed. Su Chen was a full-time psychic. He cast one spell after another and didn't give Nan Lichuan any time to rest. This made Nan Lichuan extremely frustrated. If it was a level 9 spell, he wouldn't have cared about it. However, every single spell was much more powerful than those of the same level, which was a huge threat to him. If he couldn't dodge it, he would have to defeat it. Otherwise, he would definitely be injured. Isn't Su Chen's combat experience too rich? Shang Tsili's mouth was slightly open. She was shocked. The reason why Su Chen was able to suppress Nan Lichuan was not only because of his own abilities, but also because of his ability to control the situation. Every time Nan Lichuan was about to recover, Su Chen would take the opportunity to suppress him. He didn't give Nan Lichuan any chance at all. To be able to control the situation so well, he must have been through countless battles and accumulated a lot of experience. However, Su Chen was only 17 years old. How many battles could he have experienced? What she didn't know was that Su Chen had only been a cultivator for a year. However, in this 1 year, Su Chen had been fighting almost all the time, and the number of experts he had killed was uncountable. It was reasonable for him to have this kind of combat experience. On the other side, Nan Lichuan finally managed to block the fireball with his wooden shield. He didn't even have time to catch his breath. All of a sudden, a blue torrent emitting terrifying fluctuations of lightning swept over. A lightning spell! Nan Lichuan's body trembled. Gritting his teeth, he took out a golden glove from his storage bag and quickly put it on. Then he threw a punch forward. There was a thunderous roar. Although Nan Lichuan's punch managed to break the blue flood, he was badly injured as well. His entire arm and half of his body were charred. Moreover, he was pushed back by the aftershock of the explosion. After Nan Lichuan took a few steps back, a green vine suddenly appeared under his feet and tied him up. Wood Elemental Entanglement Spell. Nan Lichuan gritted his teeth in anger. He exerted his strength, and just as he was about to break free from the vine, another invisible force came from all directions. Damn it! Nan Lichuan was so angry that he couldn't help but curse. Just as he was about to release the ghostly eye light, he felt a strong pressure coming from above his head. What was that? Nan Lichuan looked up instinctively. When he realized that it was a small mountain with colorful lights, he felt a chill down his spine and shouted, "A sacred weapon!" Chapter 725. Su Qin's Stop. Junior brother Su, calm down. Shang Tsili and Gu Tianhua's expressions changed drastically as they shouted in unison. Once Su Chen's combined 5 extremes mountain fell, even if Nan Lichuan didn't die, he would be seriously injured. This was something they didn't want to see. Su Chen had already achieved his goal, so of course, he wouldn't continue to attack. Taking back the combined 5 extremes mountain, he said lightly, "Senior Nan is very powerful. I admit defeat." Nan Lichuan's face turned red when he heard that. Even his ears were red. Su Chen wanted to give him a way out, and he knew that. But could he give up? Shang Tsili and Gu Tianhua saw it clearly. If he gave up, where would he put his old face? "I'm not as good as you. I admit defeat. You don't have to pretend anymore." Nan Lichuan snorted. He was feeling very frustrated. Su Chen wasn't angry. He smiled faintly and said, "Thank you, senior, for letting me win." Shang Tsili heaved a sigh of relief. Her thoughts moved slightly as she walked forward and whispered, "Senior brother, Su Chen, come with me." With that, she walked straight to the wooden loft. Su Chen rubbed his nose and followed closely behind. Nan Lichuan looked at Shang Tsili's back and snorted lightly, looking as if his anger hadn't subsided. If it wasn't for Shang Tsili's bad idea to let him spar with Su Chen, he wouldn't have made such a fool of himself. Fortunately, there weren't many people present. As long as they kept their mouths shut, this matter wouldn't spread. Before leaving, Nan Lichuan glared at Gu Tianhua fiercely. The meaning was very clear. If he dared to talk nonsense, he wouldn't be polite. Gu Tianhua trembled and nodded heavily. It was as if he had seen through Nan Lichuan's heart and made a promise. Seeing this, Nan Lichuan was finally relieved. Then he walked towards the wooden pavilion as well. In a room in the pavilion, Shang Tsili looked at Su Chen with a solemn expression and said in a low voice, "Su Chen, since you have already joined the Sun Moon Star Palace, there are some important matters that I must tell you." "Sectmaster, please speak your mind." Su Chen replied casually. Shang Tsili nodded slightly. After exchanging glances with Nan Lichuan, she slowly said, "Before we talk, I want to know if you can advance to the sage stage in the shortest time possible." It was extremely difficult for others to reach the Saint Realm. It was almost impossible. Otherwise, the human race wouldn't have no new Saint Realm cultivators in the last 10,000 years. However, this was not difficult for Su Chen. He had leveled up by collecting fragments. As long as he had a certain number of fragments, he could purchase attribute fragments to level up. "Sect leader, what do you mean by short time?" Su Chen rubbed his nose and asked. "Within 100 years, Shang Tsili said in a deep voice. 100 years? Su Chen shook his head. He felt that Shang Tsili was looking down on him too much. One had to know that it had only taken him a year to reach level 8. In 100 years, he might even be able to advance to the legendary god stage. Of course, he wouldn't say this out loud. Reaching level 8 in a year was too frightening. It was hard to guarantee that it wouldn't attract trouble. Su Chen pondered for a while and said, "It won't take that long. If it's fast, it'll take a year. If it's slow, it'll take 3 to 5 years. I will definitely advance to the sage stage." Advance to the sage stage in a year? Su Chen was only level 8. He was still a few levels away from the sage stage. How could he dare to make such a promise? Shang Caili and Nan Lichuan were stunned. After a long time, Shang Caili came back to her senses and probed, "Su Chen, are you really so confident? Are you joking with us?" Chapter 726. Sect Master, I wouldn't joke about such things. Su Chen laughed and continued, "However, if I want to ascend to the saint stage in a short time, I'll need a lot of cultivation resources." Actually, cultivation resources weren't of much help to him. He just remembered that the intelligent war chariot needed level 8 energy stones to reach level 8. The Sun Moon Star Palace happened to have some, so he casually mentioned it to see if he could get his hands on level 8 energy stones. As long as you can ascend to the saint stage within 100 years, all of the cultivation resources in the Sun Moon Star Palace will be given to you first. You can use as many as you want. It doesn't matter even if you use them all up, Shang Caili promised. There's such a good deal? Su Chen clicked his tongue, faintly feeling that things weren't so simple. He asked, "Sect Master, why are you in such a hurry? Is there something else?" "I would have told you even if you hadn't asked." Shang Caili's expression was solemn. She sighed faintly and continued, "Something has happened to our 2 saint stage ancestors. That's why we're in such a hurry to ascend to the saint stage." Hearing this, Su Chen's eyelids twitched. Saint-level powerhouses were definitely the pillars of a sect. Once something happened to them, it would be devastating to the sect. It was very likely that the sect would be divided by other forces and completely destroyed. "Sect Master, what happened to the 2 saint stage ancestors?" Su Chen asked. At the saint stage, there wouldn't be a problem for no reason. There must be some secret behind it. Shang Caili sighed and said slowly, "Ancestor Worski's time is up. I'm afraid he'll pass away in 100 years. As for Ancestor Worski, he completely disappeared when he entered a ruin in the void. I don't know if he's dead or trapped there." "I see." Su Chen suddenly understood. At this moment, he finally understood why Shang Caili was in such a hurry to ascend to the saint stage within 100 years. Of the 2 ancestors, one was about to pass away, and the other was missing. If there was no new saint stage in 100 years, the Sun Moon Star Palace would completely fall and lose its glory as a major sect. If it was serious, the enemy forces might even take the opportunity to eliminate it. "Sect Master, it won't be a problem for me to become a saint. Don't worry." After figuring out what was going on, Su Chen assured Shang Caili. "That's good." Shang Caili sighed. Su Chen's talent and strength were visible to the naked eye, so he was full of confidence in Su Chen. "Sect Master, if there's nothing else, I'll head back first," Su Chen said calmly. He had been separated from Tan Lin and the others for quite some time, so it was inevitable that he was worried. "Okay, if you need anything just tell Gu Tianhua and let him do it," Shang Caili replied. Upon hearing this, Su Chen was not in a hurry to leave. Instead, he said, "Sect Leader, if you have any level 8 energy stones, please give me some first. I need them urgently." "How much do you need?" Shang Caili asked. Su Chen was now the Sun Moon Star Palace's greatest hope. As long as he made a request, she would do her best to fulfill it. "About 20, Su Chen said after thinking for a while. The intelligent war chariot needed 20 level 8 energy stones to upgrade to its level 8 form. He did not ask for more. Our Sun Moon Star Palace only has 7 level 8 energy stones. I'll get someone to send them to you later. I'll think of a way to exchange for the rest from other forces." "Thank you, Sect Master." Su Chen was overjoyed. He thanked her and left. Later, under Gu Tianhua's guidance, the 2 entered another valley. The area of this valley was relatively large, and the environment was relatively clear. Furthermore, there were rows of wooden buildings erected in the valley. Chapter 727. Seeing that Wu Yang and the rest had gathered here, Su Chen was relieved. "Junior brother Su, what do you think of this place?" Chen Feng came to Su Chen's side and asked. "It's not bad." Su Chen nodded. He could not stay in the Sun Moon Star Palace for long. He would have to leave after the preliminaries ended. He would only stay here for a few days, as long as the environment was peaceful. "That's good," Chen Feng replied with a smile. Then he brought Su Chen around the valley. As there were still a few days before the preliminaries, everyone took advantage of this time to enjoy themselves. On the third day, Chen Feng and the rest suddenly brought 3 strangers for a visit. "Junior brother Su, let me introduce you. This is our Sun Moon Star Palace's junior sister Chiao Ying." Chen Feng pointed at a short girl with a ponytail, who looked a little weird, and introduced her to Chen Feng. Su Chen nodded politely. Chiao Ying pouted and looked at Su Chen unhappily. "These two are senior brother Li Zimo and senior sister Nie Xiqian from the Frost Ice Palace." After introducing Chiao Ying, Chen Feng introduced the 2 from the Frost Ice Palace. Li Zimo was 1.8 meters tall. His face was chiseled, giving people a strong sense of 3-dimensional. Nie Xiqian, on the other hand, was a beautiful woman with long black hair and a charming face. Su Chen looked at the 2 of them and greeted, "Senior brother Li, senior sister Nie." Hearing that, Li Zimo glanced at Su Chen. His eyes were filled with disdain, as cold as a glacier. Nie Xiqian was not as cold as Li Zimo. She smiled and said, "Junior brother Su, you're already a level 7 cultivator at such a young age. You're indeed a dragon among men, the best of our generation." "Senior sister Nie, you flatter me." Su Chen was a little embarrassed to be praised in front of his face. However, at this moment, Li Zimo snorted. "Junior sister Nie, rumors are just rumors. Some people just like to fish for fame." It was obvious that he was looking down on and questioning Su Chen's strength. The faces of Chen Feng and the others instantly turned ugly. Su Chen's strength was obvious to all, and they also understood Su Chen's temper. Su Chen was not someone who was willing to suffer a loss. Li Zimo's words could very well lead to Su Chen's revenge. At that time, he might even be killed on the spot. The relationship between the Frost Palace and the Sun Moon Star Palace had always been good. Naturally, they didn't want to see a conflict happen. "Junior apprentice brother Su, senior apprentice brother Li might not know your strength, so he just said it casually. Please don't take it to heart," Chen Feng hurriedly explained. Nie Xiqian echoed, "Junior brother Su, senior brother Li's temper is just like that. Don't take it to heart." Su Chen rubbed his nose and said indifferently, "It's fine. I've never bothered to lower myself to the level of some nobodies because they're not worthy." The underlying meaning of his words was simply treating Li Zimo as an ant. The moment these words came out, the surroundings fell silent. Chen Feng and the rest all secretly shook their heads and sighed. "Li Zimo, oh Li Zimo, of all people, you could have provoked. Why did you have to provoke Su Chen of all people?" Nie Xiqian swallowed a mouthful of saliva and stared at Su Chen in a daze. She wanted to say something but couldn't say it in the end. Li Zimo, who was humiliated by Su Chen, had an indiscriminate look on his face. He stared fixedly at Su Chen and growled in a low voice, "You dare to scold me?" Su Chen pursed his lips. "I never scold people. Those I scold aren't people. If you insist on admitting it, I can't do anything either." Chapter 728. Li Zimo was so angry that his mouth was trembling. Chen Feng and the rest were speechless. They only knew that Su Chen was powerful, but they didn't expect Su Chen to be so good at scolding people. "Su Chen, you are too rude. How can you talk to senior brother Li like that?" At this moment, Chiao Ying walked up angrily. She stared at Su Chen and lectured him like an elder. Su Chen was stunned. Chiao Ying was a member of the Sun Moon Star Palace, But she was speaking for an outsider. Was there something wrong with her brain? Junior sister Chiu, don't talk nonsense. Gu Tianhua kept winking at Chiu Ying. Unexpectedly, Chiu Ying ignored him and continued, also, you are a new disciple of the Sun Moon Star Palace. Why don't you call me senior sister? Su Chen rubbed his nose and looked at Chiu Ying from head to toe. He shook his head and said, look at you. Those who don't know are not weaned yet. You should take the time to grow up. Chiu Ying looked like a little girl, but she was already 20 years old. Her inability to grow up had always been her sore spot. She hated it when people joked with her about this. Having Su Chen poked her sore spot, she immediately flew into a rage and roared angrily, Su Chen, I want to duel with you. I want to challenge you. When they heard that Chiu Ying wanted to challenge Su Chen, Chen Feng and the rest's faces changed. Gu Tianhua was almost scared to death. It was true that Chiu Ying was the strongest among them, but it also depended on who she was compared to. Compared to Su Chen, it was like the difference between heaven and earth, the difference between cloud and mud. How strong was Su Chen? He was someone who could easily defeat Nan Lichuan. If Chiu Ying really challenged Su Chen, she would definitely be humiliating herself. She might even lose her life. Chiu Ying, don't mess around. Gu Tianhua scolded coldly. As the senior brother of the Sun Moon Star Palace, his words carried some weight. Normally, Chiu Ying would not dare to talk back. However, he didn't know what was wrong with him today, but he still insisted on doing things his way. He shouted at Su Chen, do you dare to accept it or not? If you don't dare to accept it, apologize to me face to face and I will forgive you. Hearing this, Su Chen's eyes gradually narrowed and a cold light flashed in his eyes. He said in a low voice, how about this, you and Li Zimo come together. Li Zimo had been jumping around quite happily just now. Since he wanted to teach them a lesson, he might as well teach them a lesson together. You want to fight both of us? Li Zimo asked in surprise. He had long found Su Chen an eyesore, but he hadn't been able to find an opportunity to do so. He had never thought that Su Chen would take the initiative to bring it up. He could use this opportunity to vent his anger. Chiu Ying's face was gloomy. She gritted her teeth and said, are you looking down on me? Among the younger generation of the Sun Moon Star Palace, her strength was enough to be ranked first. Even Gu Tianhua, the eldest senior brother, was no match for her. Su Chen's contempt for her made her extremely angry. Su Chen's lips curled slightly, and he smiled contemptuously. I'm not looking down on you, I really do. Because the two of you are not even comparable to ants in my eyes. I can easily crush you with a finger. Sigh. Chen Feng sighed helplessly. He knew that Su Chen was angry. At this time, no one could stop Su Chen. He could only sigh silently for Chiu Ying. Nie Xiqian, who originally had a good impression of Su Chen, frowned deeply. Su Chen's arrogance made her a little unhappy. Junior brother Su, please go easy on me later. Gu Tianhua knew that he couldn't stop Su Chen, so he reminded him softly. Su Chen smiled slightly. I will teach them a little lesson. I won't take their lives. Chapter 729. I agree. Li Zimo could no longer suppress the anger in his heart and said loudly. I agree too. Chiu Ying's face was also filled with anger. Seeing that this battle was unavoidable, everyone could only step back in unison and make way for the battle. The two of you can attack now. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and said with disdain. Li Zimo and Chiu Ying looked at each other and charged at Su Chen at the same time. Just as the two of them were about to reach him, Su Chen curled his lips and released his mind power. What level is this mind power? Li Zimo and Chiu Ying's faces changed completely when they felt an extremely strong invisible force coming at them. Both of them were only at level 7 while Su Chen's mind power was comparable to level 9. How could they resist it? In an instant, they lost their ability to move and couldn't even move their eyelids. A level 8 cultivator. Feeling the violent aura coming from Su Chen, Nie Xiqian's face changed drastically. Chen Feng and the rest were also confused. They all remembered that Su Chen was still at level 7 a few days ago. How did he become level 8 in the blink of an eye? Could it be that he had broken through again in just a few days? Gu Tianhua knew that Su Chen had reached level 8, but he didn't have time to explain. I told you that you were ants, but you didn't believe me. Su Chen moved his feet and appeared in front of Chiao Ying like a ghost. Then he slapped her. A clear and crisp sound was heard. Chiao Ying was slapped, and half of her face was swollen. Fortunately, Su Chen held back most of his strength and only slammed her to the ground instead of taking her life. After teaching Chiao Ying a lesson, he turned to look at Li Zimo with a mocking smile. Woo-woo, Li Zimo was terrified. He screamed with all his might, but he couldn't make a sound. Junior brother Su, have mercy. Seeing that Li Zimo was in danger, Nie Xiqian screamed in desperation. Su Chen turned a deaf ear to him. Since he had the intention of teaching him a lesson, he would not let him off so easily. With a soft snort, he controlled his spiritual power and began to mercilessly wreak havoc on Li Zimo. Crack crack. Accompanied by the crisp sound of bones cracking, Li Zimo's bones broke inch by inch. It was so painful that his face was twisted together. What terrifying strength! How cruel! Nie Xiqian gritted her teeth, her heart trembling. Su Chen quietly appreciated it for a while. Just as Li Zimo was about to faint, he withdrew his mental strength. Bang! Li Zimo slumped to the ground weakly, gasping for air. His face was filled with pain, and his eyes were filled with fear as he looked at Su Chen. Thank you for showing mercy, junior brother Su. Nie Xiqian quickly stepped forward. Not only did she not blame Su Chen for being so vicious, she even thanked him. Although Li Zimo looked very miserable, his life was not in danger. He could completely recover after resting for a month or two. This meant that Su Chen had indeed shown mercy. Su Chen nodded coldly. Then he turned to Gu Tianhua and said in a deep voice, Senior brother Gu, since Li Zimo is injured, there is no need to give him the spot for the preliminaries. Gu Tianhua nodded, indicating that he understood. Su Chen wanted to take all the spots for the preliminaries. According to the original plan, he would leave 2 spots for the Ice Palace. Now that Li Zimo was in such a state, he would definitely not be able to participate. There was no need to give him the spot. Then, Su Chen glanced at Chiao Ying and said, As for Chiao Ying, there is no need for her to participate in the preliminaries. After all, her strength is too weak. She will only embarrass our Sun Moon Star Palace if she participates. Chapter 730. What right do you have to make this decision? Chiao Ying got up from the ground and roared angrily. After witnessing Su Chen's strength, she was actually scared out of her wits. However, the quota for the preliminaries determined whether or not they could enter the Void Battleground. It was of great significance. Even if she had to take the risk of being taught a lesson by Su Chen again, she had to fight for it. Junior brother Su, why don't you reconsider? Chen Feng and the others tried to persuade him. After all, Chiao Ying was the strongest among them. If she did not participate in the preliminaries, it would be a great loss for the Sun Moon Star Palace. I've made up my mind. Even if the sect leader is here, he can't change my decision. Su Chen's voice was as cold as ice, and he spoke in an unquestionable tone. Hearing Su Chen's words, Nie Xiqian's heart trembled. She really did not understand why Su Chen, who was just a disciple, dared to boast so shamelessly. His words seemed to imply that the sect leader of the Sun Moon Star Palace had to listen to him. However, Su Chen was only at level 8. Even if he had extraordinary strength and talent, he could not be above the sect leader, right? Chen Feng and the others looked at each other, and they were suddenly in a difficult position. They understood Su Chen's temper. Once he made up his mind, no one could stop him. If he continued to speak, it was likely that he would anger Su Chen, and the gains would not make up for the losses. Gu Tianhua thought for a moment, then gritted his teeth and said, Then we'll do as junior brother Su says. He could still tell what was more important. Moreover, at the end of the day, Chiao Ying was the one who provoked Su Chen. Now that she was kicked out, she only had herself to blame. Senior brother Gu, Qiuing did not expect Gu Tianhua to really agree. She was so angry that her nose was crooked. All right, junior sister. Stop fooling around. Gu Tianhua's face darkened as he spoke in a muffled voice. Today, he had brought some people to get to know Su Chen. He did not expect such a thing to happen. The main culprits were the two troublemakers, Qiu Ying and Li Zimo. Because of this, he had a stomach full of anger and did not plan to be nice to Qiu Ying anymore. All of you are bullying me. I'm going to tell Master and ask him to uphold justice for me. Qiu Ying roared and ran out of the valley. After Qiu Ying left, Nie Siqian also said goodbye and left with Li Zimo. Although Li Zimo's life wasn't in danger, his injuries were still quite serious. If he didn't take the time to treat it, there might be future problems. Junior brother Su, don't take what happened today to heart. Chen Feng came to Su Chen's side and said embarrassedly. Don't worry, I won't argue with a little girl, Su Chen said casually. Chen Feng clicked his tongue and thought to himself, you took away all the spots for the selection. Is this how you don't care? Of course, he didn't dare to say this out loud. He could only curse in his heart. Senior brother Chen, Senior Wu Yazi has finished modifying your weapons. Su Chen suddenly recalled this matter and took out the weapons of Chen Feng and the other two from his storage pouch. Since Lung Mai didn't come, he also handed Lung Mai's weapon to Chen Feng. Junior brother Su, help us thank Master Wu Yazi. Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi were overjoyed. Su Chen nodded and walked to Gu Tianhua's side. He whispered, Senior brother Gu, how is the relationship between our Sun Moon Star Palace and the Qilin sect? Gu Tianhua didn't know why Su Chen asked this question, but he still answered truthfully. The Qilin sect is considered a neutral sect in Forgotten Autumn Mountain. Our relationship with the other major forces is very ordinary. Chapter 731. Senior brother Gu, I'll have to trouble you to inform the Qilin sect. Tell them that we can give them 2 spots in the selection competition. 1 spot can be exchanged for 5 level 8 energy stones. Su Chen thought for a moment and said calmly. Since Qiu Ying and Li Zimo's spots had been taken away by him, it would be a waste if he did not use the 2 spots. He might as well trade them. Since the Qilin sect was a neutral sect, it would be most appropriate to sell them the spots. Junior brother Su, I'm afraid the Qilin sect won't trade with us, Gu Tianhua said in a deep voice. Gu Tianhua replied in a deep voice. Then he explained, Xiao Ran is the only one from the Qilin sect who is participating in this selection. This person is extremely conceited, and his strength is indeed strong. He is determined to obtain a spot in this selection. Then forget it, Su Chen said casually. He had seen many conceited people. When they were in the arena of the preliminaries, he would make them feel despair. When that time came, they would have to think twice before proposing a trade. Moreover, it would definitely not be as simple as 5 energy stones. He could raise the price on the spot. It was even possible to set up an auction, and whoever offered the highest price would be able to get the quota. Of course, the Ouyang clan and the Assassin Alliance were excluded. Junior brother Su, there's something else I need to tell you. Gu Tianhua heaved a sigh of relief and reminded him, I've received news that the other forces are likely to have joined forces to eliminate us. It's fine. It's just a bunch of clowns. Su Chen smiled faintly, his face relaxed. It was normal for the other party to join forces when they knew that they were no match for him. He had already expected this, so he wasn't surprised. Actually, to him, it did not matter if the other party joined forces or not. He could crush them with his strength. At most, he would need to spend some effort. Seeing that Su Chen was so confident, Gu Tianhua did not say anything else. Senior brother Gu, I'll bring you to play a game, Su Chen called out. Since he had nothing to do these few days, he planned to ask Gu Tianhua to play Fight the Landlord. Besides, as the number of people increased, multiplayer card games like Level Up and Protect the King could be developed. Play a game? Gu Tianhua was a little confused. Qiao Ran, get ready. Let's play Landlord. Su Chen instructed. When everyone heard this, they immediately perked up. Gu Tianhua watched for a while, and with Su Chen's explanation, he quickly understood the essence of Dodiju. Moreover, as soon as he started, he was deeply immersed in it, unable to extricate himself. Sometimes, he would even argue with the others to the point of flushing with anger just to win a round. He did not have the demeanor of an eldest senior brother at all. Just as everyone was having fun, Chiao Ying suddenly brought a white-haired old man into the valley. "Master, he is Su Chen. He is the one who bullied me. You must seek justice for me." Chiao Ying pointed at Su Chen and said angrily. The white-haired old man squinted his eyes and sized up Su Chen, revealing an unfriendly expression. "Junior brother Su, he is an elder of our Sun Moon Star Palace. His name is Lu Yen, and he is a level 9 evolved being," Gu Tianhua reminded softly. Then, he put down the cards in his hand and said politely to Lu Yen, "Elder Lu, what brings you here?" "You already know the answer." Lu Yen snorted and turned to question Su Chen. "Kid, are you the one who bullied my disciple?" Su Chen rubbed his nose and said calmly, "I'm afraid you have misunderstood. I am not bullying her. I am teaching her a lesson." Lu Yen was here to denounce him. He was very clear about this, and did not take it to heart. In the Sun Moon Star Palace, even Shang Tsili had to be courteous to him. What was Lu Yen to her? Chapter 732. Do I need you to teach my disciple a lesson? Who do you think you are? Lu Yen was enraged when he saw how arrogant Su Chen was, completely disregarding him as an elder. Chen Feng and the rest's hearts skipped a beat when they heard that. Lu Ran actually dared to insult Su Chen to his face. He was in deep trouble now. With Su Chen's temper, he would most likely beat Lu Yen up. "I've already taught her a lesson. What are you going to do now?" Su Chen narrowed his eyes and sneered. After beating the young one, the old one would come. Since both of them were not sensible, he might as well get rid of them. "You hit my disciple. As her master, I can't just sit back and do nothing. Kneel down and admit your mistake to Chiao Ying and this matter will be over. Otherwise, I won't go easy on you." Lu Yan's face was ferocious as he glared at Su Chen and threatened. "Su Chen, did you hear that? Kneel down now or my master will beat you up." Chiao Ying also shouted. "Is this guy an idiot? Chen Ge had already let him off once. Why does he still want to court death?" Yang Hao and the rest were indignant as they pointed at Chiao Ying and scolded her. Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi's expressions changed and their hearts were in a mess. With Su Chen's violent temper, if they were to fight, Chiao Ying and Lu Chen would definitely be destroyed without leaving any residue. Gu Tianhua took a deep breath and his heart was in his throat. He thought for a while and hurriedly said to Lu Yen, "Elder Lu, Junior Chiao Ying was in the wrong previously. It's only right that Junior Su taught her a lesson." Originally, he thought that after explaining the situation, Lu Yen would stop. Then he could mediate between them and perhaps resolve this unpleasantness. Unexpectedly, Lu Yen ignored him and continued to look furious. He said coldly, "So what if Chiao Ying was in the wrong? Do you think it's up to others to teach her a lesson? Do you think I'm a pushover?" "It's over." Gu Tianhua sighed deeply. Lu Yen didn't listen to his advice and insisted on going his own way. Even if God came, he wouldn't be able to save him. "Senior brother Gu, leaving scum like this in the Sun Moon Star Palace will only ruin our reputation. Today, I will eliminate these two scourges for the Sun Moon Star Palace." Su Chen's voice was as cold as a glacier, and an extremely strong murderous aura emanated from his body. Lu Yan's words had really infuriated him. If it was just a lesson, it wouldn't be enough to quell the anger in his heart, and it would leave behind future troubles. Therefore, he planned to remove the weeds by the roots. "You want to kill me?" Lu Yen was stunned as he could clearly feel the murderous aura emanating from Su Chen. "Killing you is no different from crushing an ant." Su Chen's eyes were cold, and there was a hint of mockery at the corner of his mouth. "Ha!" Lu Yen was so angry that he laughed and mocked. "You're just a mere level 8 cultivator. Do you think you can kill me?" "Junior brother Su, you must calm down. Killing fellow disciples is a great taboo." Seeing that Su Chen was about to make a move, Chen Feng and the others hurriedly tried to persuade him. Lu Yen was a little confused. He didn't understand why Chen Feng and the others were saying this. Were they worried that Su Chen would kill him? I, Su Chen, have always been unscrupulous in my actions. Even if there's a sage here, he can forget about stopping me. Su Chen's murderous intent was ignited, and he couldn't hold it back anymore. Shameless boasting. Come and kill me if you can. Lu Ran was truly enraged, and he raised his voice to shout at Su Chen. As you wish. Su Chen moved his feet and disappeared on the spot like a ghost. When he reappeared, he was already in front of Lu Yen, and he swept his sword horizontally. Chapter 733. In an instant, a terrifying blue torrent of lightning surged towards Lu Yen and Qiuing. What a terrifying lightning sorcery! Lu Yan's eyelids twitched. When the blue torrent came close, a black bead suddenly appeared in his hand. Then, he gritted his teeth and shot it out with a pained expression. In the next moment, the blue torrent shot towards the black bead. When the two came into contact, a crack suddenly appeared in the void. The two of them were sucked into the crack and disappeared without a trace. Interesting. Su Chen snorted softly and waved the enchanted sword in his hand again. This time, he released a white torrent. The cold air quickly spread and the surroundings were suddenly covered in ice and snow. Lu Yen shuddered when he felt a bone-piercing chill. He shouted, "Stop, I admit defeat." The ice sorcery that Su Chen released was completely beyond the level of a level 9 sorcerer. With his ability, he would definitely not be able to withstand it. The black bead just now could be transferred into the void, but the black bead was a one-time use item and he only had one in his hand. Do you think this is a friendly duel? Su Chen smiled contemptuously and continued to control the ice sorcery to crush Lu Yen. Seeing that Su Chen was unmoved, Lu Yen had no choice but to bite the bullet and throw a punch forward. Unexpectedly, before he could throw a punch, a huge invisible force suddenly attacked him from all directions and firmly restrained him. No! Lu Yen let out a desperate cry and watched helplessly as the white torrent rolled towards him. In an instant he was frozen into an ice sculpture. Although he did not die, he had lost the ability to move and was now a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. As long as Su Chen continued to attack, he could easily kill him. Even Master is no match for him? Qiuing was dumbfounded and a deep sense of fear surged in her heart. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and threw a Pegasus meteor punch. If you don't remove the root of the problem, you will leave behind trouble in the future. At this moment he was determined to completely kill Lu Yen and Qiuing. Buzz. The void trembled violently. 100 dazzling golden fist shadows appeared in the air. Each fist shadow exuded an extremely sharp killing intent, giving people a feeling of fear and trepidation. Die! Su Chen sneered and smashed down with his fist. Instantly, all the golden fists descended from the sky like a small golden mountain, crashing down on Lu Yen and his companion. Just as the two of them were about to die on the spot, two figures suddenly shot towards them. Every single one of the figures exuded a terrifying aura. They were all level 10. It's the Sovereign and Elder Nan. Chen Feng's heart skipped a beat. As far as he was concerned, based on the current situation, only Shang Tsili and Nan Lichuan would be able to stop Su Chen. Gu Tianhua secretly shook his head. He was the only one who knew that Su Chen had defeated Nan Lichuan. If Su Chen insisted on killing Lu Yen, Shang Tsili and Nan Lichuan might not be able to stop him even if they worked together. Su Chen, spare his life. Shang Tsili shot forward and raised her hand to shoot out a colorful waterfall. With a gentle stir, it annihilated all of the golden fist shadows that were descending. Qiuing, who had luckily escaped with her life, calmed down a little and cried anxiously to Shang Tsili, "Sovereign, Su Chen wants to kill us indiscriminately. You must seek justice for us." "Shut up." Shang Tsili glared coldly at Qiuing and scolded her. Chapter 734. Under Shang Tsili's gaze, Chiao Ying trembled in fear and kept quiet out of fear. Su Chen is a member of the Sun Moon Star Palace after all. For my sake, let them off this time. Shang Caili turned to look at Su Chen, pleading for Lu Yen and Nanli. Su Chen narrowed his eyes, a cold glint flashing in his eyes. He looked at Shang Caili coldly and said, "As long as the sect master and senior Nan can suppress or defeat me, I can spare their lives. Otherwise, they won't be able to escape death." Su Chen wants to challenge the sect master and elder Nan by himself? Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi were stunned. Both Shang Caili and Nan Lichuan were strong in level 10. No matter how strong Su Chen was, he wouldn't be a match for level 10 opponents, right? Moreover, it was 1 against 2. Junior brothers Su wouldn't be crazy, right? Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi both had this thought in their minds. Chiao Ying was ecstatic. In her opinion, Su Chen was definitely not a match for Shang Caili and Nan Lichuan. This way, she would be able to live. Moreover, once they started fighting, Su Chen would most likely be killed. Thinking of this, Chiao Ying was filled with anticipation. Shang Caili and Nan Lichuan looked at each other, and their expressions became extremely solemn. If any other level 8 cultivator said this, they would definitely be seen as overestimating themselves and boasting shamelessly. However, it was different for Su Chen. He had easily defeated Nan Lichuan the last time they met. From this, one could see how strong he was. Even if the two of them joined forces, they weren't confident that they would be a match for Su Chen. However, Lu Yen was an elder of the Sun Moon Star Palace after all. How could they not save him? Just as the two of them were hesitating, Su Chen spoke again. "Since the sect master and senior Nan aren't saying anything, I'll take it as a silent agreement. Then let's fight." He had to kill Lu Yen and Nan Lichuan. Even Shang Caili and Nan Lichuan wouldn't be able to stop him. As soon as he finished speaking, he directly used the Atlas shape-shifting technique. When his figure rose to 100 feet, he raised his hand and threw out the primary 5 extremes mountain, not giving Shang and Caili a chance to reply. When they saw this, Shang and Caili had no choice but to fight. Knowing that the integrated 5 extremes mountain was a sacred artifact, Shang Caili didn't dare to be careless and quickly threw out a 7-colored branch in her hand. This branch seemed ordinary, but it wasn't. This was because it was the only saint artifact of the Sun Moon Star Palace, the rainbow glazed branch. The 7-colored glazed branch shot into the air and turned into a colorful waterfall. It spun around the integrated 5 extremes mountain and trapped it in place. At the same time, Nan Lichuan made his move as well. Having learned his lesson, he immediately used his strongest move, the spectral eye god ray. In an instant, a purple light that exuded destructive power shot towards Su Chen. Elder Nan is actually using his trump card to deal with Su Chen? Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi were stunned. The number 1 expert of the Sun Moon Star Palace didn't hold back at all when dealing with a level 8 cultivator. Wasn't this too exaggerated? Gu Tianhua was well aware of this. Nan Lichuan must be afraid of Su Chen. He was worried that if he didn't use his trump card, he would be crushed by Su Chen again. Facing the spectral eye god ray that was shooting towards him, Su Chen quickly opened the pet breeding space and summoned the Bone Chill Nether Fire. He then used the frost spell and attached the Bone Chill Nether Fire to it. Although the Bone Chill Nether Fire was a mystical fire, it exuded the ice attribute. When combined with the frost spell, the power produced was multiplied. In the next moment, after the two collided, the spectral eye god ray was easily frozen. Chapter 735. How is this possible? Nan Lichuan was so shocked that his jaw dropped. Even if he saw it with his own eyes, he couldn't believe that his strongest move couldn't even cause a ripple. How strong is junior brother Su? Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi were shocked. Nan Lichuan couldn't do anything to Su Chen even after using his trump card. Didn't that mean that he wasn't a match for Su Chen at all? Su Chen was strong to this extent? Just when Nan Lichuan was in a daze, Su Chen moved and disappeared from where he was standing. "Senior brother, be careful," Shang Caili reminded him loudly. She remembered Su Chen's speed and knew that Su Chen was definitely going to attack Nan Lichuan. She shouted and stood in front of Nan Lichuan without hesitation, trying to stop Su Chen. Just as Shang Tsili expected, Su Chen was indeed planning a sneak attack. But with Shang Tsili's interference, the sneak attack couldn't be done. However, he didn't care. He opened the pet breeding space and summoned all his spiritual pets. Then he pointed at Shang Tsili and ordered, "Trap her." Suddenly, all the spiritual pets, including Gulung and Netherflame, rushed forward and surrounded Shang Tsili. Although their levels weren't as high as Shang Tsili, each of them was much stronger than the same level. With their cooperation, they completely suppressed Shang Tsili. So many high-level spiritual pets. Seeing that Su Chen summoned 6 spiritual pets, all of which were above level 7, Nan Lichuan's teeth were chattering. Qiao Ying, who wasn't far away, suddenly felt uneasy when she saw this scene. Originally, she thought that Shang Tsili and Nan Lichuan could easily defeat Su Chen if they worked together. But the situation on the field wasn't like that at all. Instead, Shang Tsili and Nan Lichuan were at an absolute disadvantage. If this continued, wouldn't Su Chen win? Would she still be able to live? Thinking of this, Qiao Ying began to slowly retreat. She wanted to escape while no one was paying attention. Unexpectedly, just as she took 2 steps back, Su Chen's cold voice suddenly rang in her ears. "If you dare to move again, I'll kill you on the spot." Qiao Ying was so scared that her whole body trembled, and she no longer dared to act rashly. After stunning Qiao Ying, Su Chen looked at Nan Lichuan and smirked. "Senior, we didn't have enough fun the last time. Let's continue this time." Nan Lichuan's scalp went numb when he heard that. In the previous battle, he had been completely crushed by Su Chen. Needless to say, he had been so aggrieved that it had almost left a shadow in his heart. He didn't want to try it again. If it were any other place, he would have already surrendered or run away. But he couldn't do it here. There were so many people watching. He couldn't afford to lose face here. "Su Chen, give this old man some face." Nan Lichuan mumbled softly. Then he forced himself to attack Su Chen. "Give this old man some face." Su Chen rubbed his nose and swung his enchanted sword, without any hesitation. Soon, Nan Lichuan was at an absolute disadvantage under Su Chen's continuous attacks. Other than trying to defend himself, he didn't have any ability to fight back at all. In fact, he looked like he was in a mess. Junior brother Su is getting stronger. Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi looked at each other and clicked their tongues at the same time. They clearly remembered that when they first met Su Chen wasn't this powerful. But in just 1 month, Su Chen's abilities had improved tremendously. He could even defeat a level 10 cultivator now. The speed of his growth was so fast that it was shocking. Chapter 736. I'm not fighting with you anymore. Nan Lichuan was on the verge of breaking down after being suppressed by Su Chen. He was so depressed that he was about to vomit blood. He knew that he would only embarrass himself if he continued to fight like this. It wouldn't change the situation at all, so he decided not to fight with Su Chen anymore. After saying this, he turned around and left the place. "This old man still has some tricks up his sleeve," Su Chen muttered, but he didn't stop him. Nan Lichuan knew that he had to leave. Otherwise, he would have used his full strength and it would be hard to guarantee that he wouldn't be beaten to the ground. After Nan Lichuan disappeared from sight, Su Chen turned around and shot out a wind blade to kill Qiao Ying. Then he punched Lu Yen, who had been frozen into an ice sculpture, and shattered it into pieces. Shang Tsili looked at all of this, but she couldn't do anything about it. She could only sigh. "Everyone stop." Su Chen shouted at the spiritual pets. Lu Yen and Qiao Ying had been killed, so it was meaningless to continue fighting with Shang Tsili. At this moment, Shang Tsili came to Su Chen's side and looked at Su Chen in a daze. She said in a low voice, "Do you know why I stopped you from killing Lu Yen? It's because Lu Yan's identity is not ordinary." "Sect Master, please tell me," Su Chen said calmly. He had already killed them, so there was no such thing as regret in his dictionary. Moreover, Lu Yen and Qiu Ying had only themselves to blame for ending up like this. He didn't feel guilty at all. This had always been his way of doing things. Wanting him to change was no different from wishful thinking. Shang Caili sighed. Lu Yen also has a backer. His daughter, Lu Kaifeng, married into the Ling family of the Manyu Shrine. Not only is the Ling family the #1 family in the Manyu Shrine, they also have a sage-level ancestor backing them. A mere Ling family is nothing to be afraid of, Su Chen said nonchalantly. After the preliminaries, he would make a trip to the Manyu Shrine. If the Ling family didn't know what was good for them and dared to find trouble with him, he would uproot them. Aren't you afraid that the Ling family's saint-level ancestor will attack you? Shang Caili asked worriedly. She had already seen Su Chen as the hope of the Sun Moon Star Palace. She did not want anything to happen to Su Chen. A saint-level ancestor can't just casually enter the continent. What's there to be afraid of? Su Chen rubbed his nose, still looking calm. With your strength, there's indeed nothing to worry about on the continent, but you'll have to enter the void sooner or later, Shang Caili reminded. Hearing this, Su Chen narrowed his eyes and pondered. In the void, saint-level powerhouses would not be suppressed by the power of the boundary and could use their strength as they wished. They could indeed pose a fatal threat to him. Moreover, he had offended more than one saint. If they joined forces, it would be even more dangerous. However, thinking that there was still a year before he entered the void, he would not stay at level 8 forever. With a year's buffer, there would be no pressure to advance to level 10. At that time, by using the Atlas shapeshifting technique, his strength would at least reach the level of a false saint. Even if a second-stage saint wanted to kill him, it would definitely not be that easy. Secmaster, don't worry. When I enter the void battleground, I will at least be level 10, Su Chen said solemnly. Shang Caili was slightly startled. She suddenly thought that with Su Chen's cultivation talent, there was indeed a high possibility that he could advance to levels 10 within a year. With his strength that far exceeded those of the same level, he could indeed compete with a saint. Thinking of this, Shang Caili breathed a sigh of relief. Chapter 737. Sectmaster, if there's nothing else, why don't I teach you how to play Fight the Landlord? Su Chen suddenly suggested. He had a good impression of Shang Caili and wanted to get closer to her through Fight the Landlord. Hearing this, Qin Feng and the others were stunned. Su Chen actually wanted to play Fight the Landlord with Shang Caili? This joke was a little too much. If Shang Caili really agreed, would they still be able to play happily? Fortunately, Shang Caili still had a sense of propriety. As the leader of a sect, how could she mix with a group of disciples? You guys have fun. I still have something to deal with. Shang Caili called out and left directly. After Shang Caili left the valley, Su Chen disposed of Lu Yen and Li Lichuan's corpses and continued to play Fight the Landlord with everyone. Junior brother Su's heart is really big. Seeing this, Chen Feng secretly clicked his tongue. Su Chen had just killed someone, but it was as if he had done something insignificant. In this aspect, he was ashamed of his inferiority. 3 days passed in a flash, and it was the day of the Forgotten Autumn Mountain selection. Under the lead of Shang Caili and Nan Lichuan, the participants of Sun Moon Star Palace went straight to Crepe Myrtle Mountain. Crepe Myrtle Mountain didn't belong to any faction. In the past, the selection would be held here. As a precaution, before they left, Su Chen let Wu Yang and the others enter the chaos space. Crepe Myrtle Mountain wasn't far from Sun Moon Star Palace. In about an hour, the people of Sun Moon Star Palace arrived at the foot of Crepe Myrtle Mountain. At the foot of the mountain, several other factions had already arrived and were gathered together to discuss something. There's still some time before the competition starts. You guys take a rest first. Shang Caili instructed and walked towards the place where the other factions were gathered. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and glanced around. When his gaze landed on a huge arena, he said to Qin Feng, who was beside him, "Senior brother Qin, will we be fighting in this arena later?" Qin Feng replied and then explained, "Junior brother Su, we just need to knock the opponent out of the arena later." According to the rules of the Forgotten Autumn Mountain selection, As long as one could become one of the last 10 people to remain in the arena, they would be able to obtain a spot in the selection. Is it okay to kill them in the arena? Su Chen continued to ask. Hearing this, Chen Feng could not help but click his tongue. He knew that Su Chen had the intention to kill, so he hurriedly advised, "Junior brother Su, it's best not to kill, so as not to arouse public anger." Arouse public anger? Su Chen scoffed at this. Other than the Flowing Water sect and the Qilin sect, which of the 7 major powers of the Forgotten Autumn Mountain did not have a grudge with him? Even the Frost Ice Palace, which had joined forces with the Sun Moon Star Palace, had severely injured Li Zimo a few days ago. In other words, he had already incurred the wrath of the public. Since that was the case, there was no need to restrain himself. He would kill as he pleased. Especially the Ouyang aristocratic family and the Assassins' Alliance, he didn't plan to let any of them off. In addition, he also thought of another point. The Ouyang family and the Assassins' Alliance hadn't come to denounce him all this time. It was very likely that they wanted to take advantage of the selection to eliminate him. Su Chen felt that the possibility of this was very high. After all, people from the Ouyang family and the Assassins' Alliance had died in his hands. If they did not take revenge, they would definitely be ridiculed by the other factions. Thinking of this, Su Chen's lips curved into a strange arc. "Junior brother Su, I'll be relying on you for this selection." At this moment, Gong Gu walked up and greeted Su Chen. "Senior brother Gong is too polite," Su Chen said with a smile. He had a good impression of Gong Gu and would definitely give him a spot in the selection. Chapter 738. Junior brother Su, our Frost Palace will have to rely on you this time. Nie Xiqian, Chen Feng, and the others exchanged a few words before walking to Su Chen's side to greet him. Su Chen nodded slightly and did not say anything. "Su Chen, let me introduce you. This is Flowing Water Sect's Sect Master Yuqi Jingyang, and this is Frost Palace's Sect Master Lu Qianqin." Shang Tsili had returned at some point, accompanied by an old man with an otherworldly temperament and an old woman in a Taoist robe with an indifferent expression. "Greetings, seniors." Su Chen politely greeted them. "I've long heard about you from the palace. Seeing you today, you're indeed impressive," Yuqi Jingyang replied enthusiastically. Lu Qianqin, on the other hand, remained silent. She only looked at Su Chen with a cold expression on her face. "Su Chen, you have to pay attention to 2 people in this selection. One is Qilin Sect's Xiao Ran, and the other is Assassin League's Yang Wenxuan," Shang Tsili reminded. Even though she knew Su Chen's strength was unparalleled, the selection was of great importance. She still felt that it was better to warn him. "Rest assured, Sect Master. I won't be careless," Su Chen said with a smile. Before coming, he had already learned that the highest cultivation among those participating in the selection was only level 8. Level 8 cultivators were like ants in his eyes, so he did not take them to heart. "Have you discussed a countermeasure?" Shang Tsili sighed and continued to ask. Sun Moon Star Palace, Flowing Water Sect, and Frost Palace had formed an alliance, and the other side had also formed an alliance. Moreover, they had more people than their side. Once a fight broke out, Su Chen would not have a problem, but the others would be easily knocked off the stage. "We've already discussed it. Senior brother Gu and the others will gather together to defend, and I will attack them alone." Su Chen explained simply. Gu Tianhua and the others were not weak. If they joined forces to defend, it would be difficult for anyone to knock them off the stage. As long as they held on, Su Chen would have no worries and could defeat them one by one. "This is a good idea." Shang Tsili nodded with satisfaction. Once Su Chen launched an attack, even someone as powerful as Nan Lichuan wouldn't be able to fight back. He could easily defeat level 7 and level 8 cultivators in an instant. "Try not to kill as much as possible," Shang Tsili exhorted in a low voice before turning around to chat with Yuqi Jingyang. Half an hour later, the selection officially began. Su Chen, Gu Tianhua, Leng Mai, Chen Feng, Xia Jingyi, Lin Huayin, Gong Gu, and Ye Xiqian all stepped onto the stage. The Beast Lodge, the Assassin's Alliance, and the Ouyang family also sent out 12 people and gathered together. Su Chen noticed that other than the two of them, there was another lone figure in the field. As a result, a tripartite balance of power was formed. Senior Brother Gu, who is this guy alone? Su Chen asked curiously. He is the Qilin sect's Xiao Ran, Gu Tianhua said solemnly. This guy is pretty good at pretending, huh? Su Chen rubbed his nose and mumbled. There were so many experts on the stage, but Xiao Ran dared to face them alone. It was clear that he had absolute confidence in his own strength. However, Su Chen had already planned to take all 10 spots. If Xiao Ran wanted to get a spot without paying a price, it would be impossible. After the three sides faced each other for a while, Xiao Ran suddenly turned to Su Chen's side and said loudly, "Which one of you is Su Chen?" "I am." Su Chen rubbed his nose and took a step forward. Chapter 739. Xiao Ran sized up Su Chen and said in a low voice, "I heard that Ouyang Buhui and Tang Jiaolin died at your hands?" Su Chen didn't know why Xiao Ran would ask such a question, but he still said calmly, "You're missing two. There's someone called Nzaheo from the Assassin's Alliance, and Ouyang Chengfeng from the Ouyang family. These two trash died in my hands." The reason why he said this was to attract hatred. When the Ouyang family and the Assassin League attacked him with all their might, he could take the opportunity to kill them. As expected, Su Chen's words immediately stirred up the emotions of the Ouyang family and the Assassin League, and they all cursed and scolded him. Chen Feng and the rest shook their heads secretly. They really couldn't do anything to Su Chen. "In that case, you should be the strongest person here?" Xiao Ran muttered. Then, his eyes lit up as he stared at Su Chen. He said coldly, "Su Chen, I want to challenge you one-on-one. Do you dare to accept?" "One-on-one?" Su Chen was instantly interested. He laughed and said, "You don't have the right to do so." Then, he turned to look at the people from the Assassin League and continued, "If you add Yang Wenxuan from the Assassin League, you might be able to take a move or two from me." When he said this, the surroundings were silent for a moment. Those who did not know Su Chen's specific strength were somewhat dumbfounded. Su Chen's arrogance was simply outrageous. Both Xiao Ran and Yang Wenxuan were strong enough to defeat a level 9 cultivator. They were definitely not people like Tang Jiaolin could compare to. Su Chen killed Tang Jiaolin and a few others, and he could boast shamelessly and vainly challenge Xiao Ran and Yang Wenxuan? What a joke! Yuqi Jingyang's expression froze. When he came back to his senses, he whispered to Shang Caili, "Sect leader Shang, isn't Su Chen a little too arrogant?" He knew from Gongge that Su Chen could kill a level 9 mutated blood plant and had a divine weapon in hand. His strength was definitely not to be underestimated. However, Xiao Ran and Yang Wenxuan were also masters who could kill enemies above their level. Furthermore, as the absolute core of their respective sects, it was very likely that they also had divine weapons. In this way, the possibility of Su Chen winning against two experts was very slim. Yuqi Jingyang couldn't help but start to worry about the quota for the preliminaries. "Sect leader Yuqi, don't worry." Shang Caili chuckled and then vowed solemnly, "Xiao Ran and Yang Wenxuan are like ants in Su Chen's eyes. They can be destroyed with one hand." These words were not boastful at all, but he had absolute confidence in Su Chen. After all, Shi and Nan Lichuan weren't Su Chen's match, let alone Xiao Ran and Yang Wenxuan. This, Yuqi Jingyang gulped and stared at Shang Caili in a daze, unable to speak for a long time. In his impression, Shang Caili was a very low-key person. Why was she so arrogant today? Could it be that Su Chen's strength was so strong that Shang Caili was completely at ease? In the arena, Xiao Ran and Yang Wenxuan's expressions became unusually ugly. As the absolute prodigies of the younger generation of Forgotten Autumn Mountain, when had they ever been humiliated like this? Su Chen's arrogance and conceit already thoroughly ignited the two people's killing intent. "I alone am enough to deal with you." Xiao Ran's face was gloomy. He gritted his teeth and sneered. "I hope you won't regret saying this when you die in my hands." Stop showing off. Hurry up. Su Chen curled his lips and walked slowly toward Xiao Ran with a look of contempt. Chapter 740. You're courting death. Xiao Ran could no longer hold back the anger in his heart. He stomped his foot and charged toward Su Chen. Su Chen did not hold back. He raised his hand and performed the Pegasus Meteor Punch. Buzz buzz. Suddenly, the air was covered by golden fist shadows. Shrill fist winds mixed together, causing the entire void to emit a trembling sound. Xiao Ran's pupils shrank when he saw this. As the fist shadows smashed down, his body flickered as if it was an illusion. Bang bang. When all the fist shadows landed, the ring was densely packed with holes and cracks. However, Xiao Ran stood on the spot and was unharmed. Su Chen, if that's all you've got, you can go and die. Xiao Ran laughed wildly. Then, he shook his arms and a purple light wave rippled out from his body. Then, it flowed into his arms. Immediately after, Xiao Ran's arms became incomparably thick and purple scales appeared on them. Junior brother Su, be careful. Xiao Ran is using the famous Qilin arm of the Qilin sect. Once it's used, your defense and strength will increase by several times. Chen Feng's face froze as he reminded Su Chen loudly. Qilin arm. Su Chen muttered. Qilin arm sounded similar to his golden scales on the arm, but in terms of effect, it was a grade higher than the golden scales on the arm. Dong dong dong. At this moment, Xiao Ran strode over. When he was close to Su Chen, he waved his thick purple arm and smashed it toward Su Chen. Looking at Xiao Ran's ferocious face, Su Chen's eyes gradually narrowed and he instantly released his mental strength. You want to stop me with your mental strength? Xiao Ran sneered. A purple light flashed on his arm and destroyed the mental strength that was attached to it. Then, he smashed it towards Su Chen with great force. You've got some strength. Su Chen curled his lips. When Xiao Ran's purple arm came crashing down, a faint golden light appeared on his palm, and he grabbed it. Bang! When the two collided, there was a dull sound of collision. Why is your strength so great? Xiao Ran suddenly cried out in surprise. At this moment, his arm was firmly grasped by Su Chen, and he couldn't move at all. This made him feel incomparably shocked and incredulous. Using the Qilin arm would increase his strength by several folds. Even a level 10 evolver might not necessarily be stronger than him. On the other hand, Su Chen, who was only level 8, could easily block the attack. He even felt that Su Chen hadn't used any strength. If he already possessed such strength without exerting any strength, then how great would his strength be if he went all out? While Xiao Ran was still in a daze, Su Chen's lips curled into a strange arc. Then, he suddenly exerted force and clenched his fist. Crack! A crisp sound of bones breaking resounded in the arena. Ah! What followed was Xiao Ran's painful screams. What happened? The onlookers were inexplicably surprised and looked at Xiao Ran. When they saw Xiao Ran's thick arm being broken by Su Chen, they were stunned. Su Chen is so powerful? He can even break the Qilin arm? Yuqi Jingyang swallowed his saliva, and his expression became extremely complicated. If he asked himself honestly, if he were to fight with Xiao Ran, defeating him wouldn't be a problem. However, he definitely couldn't break the arm like Su Chen. Sect Master Yuqi, there's no need to make a fuss. This is Su Chen's routine. Shang Tsili chuckled. Routine? Yuqi Jingyang's expression froze. Routine meant that Su Chen hadn't used his true strength and was already so strong without exerting any strength. Once he used his trump card, how powerful would he be? Chapter 741. Bang! There was a loud explosion. Xiao Ran was smashed to the ground by Su Chen's punch. You want to kill me? Do you have the ability? Su Chen stepped on Xiao Ran's face and mocked. Xiao Ran had said that he wanted to kill him, so he didn't plan to let Xiao Ran live. However, before he killed him, he wanted to humiliate him to his heart's content. He wanted to warn the others that this was the outcome of going against Su Chen. Woo woo. Xiao Ran's eyes were burning with anger as he struggled desperately, trying to break free from Su Chen's foot. However, Su Chen's strength was incomparably great. He was like a towering mountain, pressing down on him until he couldn't move. Shang Tsai, when it's possible to make mistakes, one should be lenient. Quickly ask your disciple to stop. Below the ring, an old man with a white beard couldn't stand it anymore and growled at Shang Tsai. This person was called Lei Chengtian, the current sect leader of the Qilin sect. Seeing his proud disciple being wantonly humiliated in front of everyone, he was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. If it weren't for the rules, he would have rushed up to the ring to teach Su Chen a lesson. Fighting in the ring depends on one's ability. Moreover, it was your disciple who provoked Su Chen. You only have yourself to blame for ending up like this. You still have the nerve to be so arrogant? If you don't have the ability, don't go up to the ring and make a fool of yourself. Shang Tsai sneered without holding back. The Qilin sect was originally a neutral sect, but they were the first to jump out to pick a fight. This made her angry. Seeing Su Chen humiliating the other party made her feel especially comfortable. Why would she stop Su Chen? Moreover, with Su Chen's temper, she couldn't stop him even if she wanted to. You? Lei Chengtian's face turned red and white as his veins popped out. However, he couldn't find a reason to refute, so he could only swallow his anger. In the ring, when Su Chen was still mocking Xiao Ran, a scorching fireball suddenly shot towards him. Level 9 Fireball Technique. Su Chen raised his eyebrows. Based on the fireball's mana fluctuations, he determined that the fireball had reached level 9. If it were anyone else, the first thing they would think of would be to dodge. However, Su Chen scoffed. When the fireball flew over, a golden light appeared on his palm, and he grabbed at the fireball. Witnessing this scene, everyone was astonished. The power of a level 9 fireball was no joke. Even a level 10 evolver would not dare to take it head-on. Su Chen was only level 8. If he dared to grab it with his bare hands, wouldn't he be courting death? I'll blow you up, you bastard. Lei Chengtian grumbled in his heart. However, what happened next left everyone dumbfounded. Su Chen caught the fireball with ease. Then he exerted force and crushed the fireball in his hand. Just how strong is Su Chen's body? Seeing that Su Chen was unharmed, Yuqi Jingyang took a deep breath. His eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Shang Tsai's expression changed. Although she had fought with Su Chen before, she didn't know that Su Chen had such a strong defense. This kid is ridiculously strong. Nan Lichuan couldn't help but click his tongue. After Su Chen crushed the fireball, he flicked his finger to get rid of the ashes on it. Then, he turned around and looked at the place where the 3 families of the Assassin Union were gathered. After a quick glance, his eyes finally landed on a lady in yellow. His voice was as cold as ice. Are you coming to accept your death, or are you waiting for me to kill you? The lady in yellow was the one who attacked him with the fireball. Of course, he wouldn't forgive someone like her. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.